What is up, ladies and gentlemen? Lynn here with another Between Gamers podcast, not a discussion. We are having a podcast today. And today we are going to discuss 3 topics. So I'll let you guys know what those topics are going to be. And then we'll go from there. So we are going to discuss, apparently there is a Rhode Island congressman that wants to propose a 10% tax hike over and above what you already pay on video games, but he wants to propose this tax on violent video games, and he wants that money to go towards mental health programs in schools. Next topic will be piracy of video game titles, preferably the Switch titles. And we're also going to speak on censorship in video games. So we'll go ahead and have everyone introduce themselves, and we'll get right into the nitty-gritty of the thing here. And we'll start with my left, more than likely your right, with Dre, Mr. UHC91. What's up, Dre?
Hey. Let's get this started.
And next we will go with Dirty, the old Dirty 33. What up, Dirty?
What's up, people? What's up, YouTube? It's your boy Dirty. We're about to get into some discussions.
And last but not least, we have Will from the Wheel of Gaming. What up, Will?
What up, Ian? What up, everybody? How you guys doing? Let's get ready to chat.
You silly.
I'm an idiot. Sorry.
All right. So first topic that we will have a discussion on today will be piracy. Apparently, with all of our first run switches, the day one switches, there's a flaw in the chipset that allows pirates or whatnot, hackers per se, to be able to hack the system on a hardware level in order to pirate games or whatnot, or allow the system to read pirated games. I don't know how that works. I don't do that, but this is the thing. And apparently, there's nothing Nintendo can do about that. But from what I also understand, Nintendo silently released a fix for something to all the current Switches that are currently in stores now, the Switches that you buy now, to block that. But it doesn't really help all the other Switches that are already out here that have that issue where, you see videos all over YouTube on how to homebrew your Switch. So what are you guys' thoughts on this? Like I said, me personally, I don't do that. And I've got a crap ton of games on my shelf to prove it. And I'm not saying that, okay, I'm not going to get into hot water with this. I'm going to just say that it's not my cup of tea. I think people are extremely, extremely smart to be able to even work around and do this. But to me, it kind of keeps these game companies on their toes of improving their software and their hardware or whatnot to try and counteract, what's been done. So what are you guys' thoughts on piracy of video games and the fact that every single Switch game, including unreleased titles, are currently playable on the Switch? One of my friends actually played Dead Cell, and they don't come out to the end of next month.
Oh God, yeah. Well, see, look, I've dabbled and I dabbled.
No, real?
Well, okay. So growing up, video games has always been like a thing in my life and whatnot. And there were times where I never had money. and everybody's playing games and stuff. So I know I've been around through the entirety of the time where there was like where you can hack like I had a friend that he hacked an Xbox, friend hacked a PSP, friend hacked a Nintendo Wii. So there's different ways to exploit, and there's two different things. So let me explain these things and kind of okay. So basically, there's homebrew, and what homebrew is that you can create your own apps that are not there. It's like basically making it so developers can develop apps for the system. So you can play with a PS3 controller on a Vita if you wanted to, or something like that. Just something that normally that you can't do. This makes it easier for you to do that. You can watch movies, TV shows, and things like that. So homebrew is really what it really is, and homebrew is legal. Like that's legal. You can do that. The thing is that people can use homebrew and they can exploit it and make it into something where you can pirate stuff. Basically, you can download ROMs of all these games, and then you can put it onto your system and play it on your system. See, the problem is that Nintendo should have known better, because when the Wii came out, that also had a flaw in it. There was a flaw in the Wii at one point where that if you just solder some wires together, it made it possible for you to it made it absolutely possible for you to hack the Nintendo Wii, and that you could play burnt discs of the games on your Wii. You could do that. And it happened like around the first month that it came out, and it was a nightmare. Because the thing was that back then, it was a hardware issue too. So the fact that the Switch had one, and the fact that the Switch was the fastest selling console of all time, and then if people realize how easy it is to hack the Switch, and how it is to put homebrew and all that stuff on it, ooh! See, the problem is the majority of people who got it don't really do it. So there is a small group of people that could do it. Xbox was really complex when they had their piracy thing, because what they did was that they released a new Xbox like every freaking like month. So there was a new Xbox and people would find ways to exploit it. And this was the first time that updates actually kicked in. And if you didn't stealth, I remember that you had to stealth lock your discs to make sure that it reads it like an actual game. And if you fail to do that, next update that comes in, they call it the ban wave. And then that like starts to block any consoles at all that had any issues with whatchamacallit. That had any issues with I can't even talk. That had like issues where like you had to put the game ROM through this program. And then the program will let you know if you could like install like this thing on it, so that way that the Xbox will read it as an actual legitimate Xbox 360 disc, and then it will go. Then you can play it, but then you could get ban waived out, and then you won't be able to go online. So then that became the combat strategy. Then people found out ways to hack Sony, and then Sony found a way to ban people for that too. But now it's like, it's good because piracy does keep companies on their toes. It makes it all this other stuff. It goes to show that it actually brings out, if anything, better engineers, because these people can find a ways to crack the system and find a ways to fix holes in the system, which I think is really good. Like they'd be like, well, I found a way to exploit this. It was simply by this and by doing this, and that's how you did it. And then people be like, oh, okay. So when the next thing comes out, it's not going to be that hard, but then other people like to try to crack things. That's the thrill of it. But the ROMs is a problem. Piracy is definitely a problem, because the thing is that piracy really doesn't give the developers the money that they deserve. Let's say that there was a great game that you like to play, like what was a great game that came out like really recently? Okay, so like for Nintendo Switch, for example, Octopath. Okay, so Octopath was sold out in stores when it first came out. Could you imagine if that people were able to pirate it, which people were able to pirate it, get ROMs for it, and get it way in advance before anybody else? Because people could literally find the ROM, like somebody will upload the data online of the game, and they'll put it up online right there. And sometimes these companies are tricky because sometimes they put up fake games where it's the actual game and stuff, but the moment that you put it on there, it basically puts like a thing on your console to let you know that this console is hacked, and therefore it will ban the game, and it'll ban the console in general. So there's some interesting piracy stuff out there. There's a lot of piracy and big stories, but the thing is that piracy is really bad. It's horrible because the thing is that these companies, I understand that they charge a lot of money, and we'll get into that, I guess, later. But a lot of these people pay like $60 for a game, and then you're getting all these new games. And the problem with the Switch is not necessarily the piracy itself, at least to me it's not, but the problem is the fact that people are able to actively cheat on online gaming. They're allowed to put in all these extra developer apps and cheat on the game. They could literally lag switch everybody else and get all these kills. They can make themselves invincible. They can do all these crazy things. So Nintendo is literally, I don't know how they're going to combat that. So they have been banning accounts from what I've heard. And so, yeah, honestly, Nintendo put himself in a pickle. I don't know. I guess that's the best way to put it.
Well, quick shout outs before we move on. Shout out to Miss K. Shout out to Harriet Man Gaming. Shout out to Brand EQ. And yeah. All right. Who's next?
I have to agree with what Will said. With pirating. Like you said, you have homebrew that lets you do like nifty little things. They do have homebrew that lets you play the NES collection, the Super NES collection and stuff like that. Every game will be on your console from that old console. But when you go into piracy, just like the Wii, I remember the Wii was real big with hackers. You had people that brought like a big hard drive, like a terabyte, and they actually had the whole collection of the Wii library on the hard drive.
That's what I want. I'm sorry.
And
all the games, all of them.
And I have a few like burnt games for the Dreamcast.
I do too, but in my defense, I do own the actual games too, and they are in fact encased, like they haven't been opened, and I just play those other games. So yeah, but continue.
Yeah, like when the Dreamcast was dying out, it was a few games that I want to, try. And when I found out how easy it was to just, all you do is just burn it to a CD and just throw it in the console, because it had no protection. The Dreamcast, they didn't even put that into the system. So it was just that easy. If you can copy the RAM off the disc and just put it to another disc, then you can play the game. And I had a few games where I did that and checked the game out. Like, what, this game is pretty cool. And I actually went and, brought the game used. If I could find it at GameStop or, what was the other store before GameStop? So EB Games. If I found them there for cheap, I'll pick them up. But when you go into like with the Wii, I remember North America was not going to get Xenoblade. But a lot of people pushed for Xenoblade to come over. Xenoblade was the #1 Wii game that was downloaded over 1 million times.
What?
Yeah, that game was downloaded over 1 million times. So you just had a whole bunch of people that was like, I don't got to buy the game, or Nintendo was taking too long, on decide if they're going to bring the game to North America.
But imagine how much money they would have made had they brought it here.
Yeah, but you still have people, and I know people that even if the game would have came out, they wouldn't have brought it because they were like, well, I could just download it for free.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was really
You know.
bad. The online was very bad at that time because people could literally upload a game like 2 weeks before a game came out. Like I remember it was very popular in Xbox 360 that like people were playing Gears of War 2 like 2 weeks before it came out, or that they would play like all these games. Like if Twitch existed back in the day, yeah, and I had access to knowing how to use it. Oh my god. I could just imagine. But the thing is that there was like all these crazy, there's like all these like I love, one of the things I love is that I find it fascinating. I find it very fascinating, like the hacking process, like how did they hack it? How did they figure it out? How did they do it?
Yeah.
And it's so interesting how like the flaws and just living through all that entirety of it and stuff. It was actually harder to hack games back in the day. Now I'm pretty sure it's easy if you wanted to. But the thing is because things were on cartridges and computers weren't really a thing at the time and technology wasn't really there yet. So, but it's a great whatchamacallit. It's a great community. Like when you look at the community and stuff. Now, piracy in itself, like just ROMs and stuff, that's bad. Unfortunately, it's terrible because a lot of people do have like a moral code on what they feel about the whole thing. Some people are perfectly okay with it and are like, whatever, free games, ha ha ha. But they don't realize they don't realize that has serious consequences, like severe consequences. Games become more expensive because of it. Developers are more unlikely to make sequels to the game. So let's say if it's something that you really enjoyed, because of piracy, like for example, Xenoblade. When Xenoblade came out, it wasn't like Dirty said, it wasn't going to come out in the States, and it had to get petitioned. And then there was a GameStop only game, which made it hard to get. Figures, yeah. So but the thing was that people just didn't assume. People assumed that they wouldn't like it because it was a Japanese game and the RPG genre was kind of dying here.
Are amazing. I
love it. I thought it was great. It's a great game, but my God, it's really expensive to get a Wii copy of it. But it's a great game. And it was a great series, but the thing was that, like Dirty said, people would get like upset, and they'd be like, "Oh well, fine, and bye," and then they'd go crazy. Now, the best thing with a homebrew though is that you could actually play. Well, not really, not for every console, but there were some consoles where you could actually like unlock the region stuff, that way that you can make it region free. A console that was region locked becomes region free, so now you can play like Japanese games and things like that. So people were able to play like Super Smash Brothers Brawl like way before it came out.
Wow.
Because back in the day, remember how Japan would always get the game first, and then we had to wait like months or a year for us to get it.
Mm-hmm.
Well, people were taking full advantage of it back then. There was more incentive to do it. Now I think it's still there, but it's not as bad as it used to be. But it's definitely still there, and it definitely affects it still. See, me, I don't. There was a point in time where I did try homebrew, and I tried homebrew on the Wii, and it was really cool. Like it was really cool because it's just like the apps. Like instead of playing with the damn Wiimote, I could choose to play with like a PlayStation 3 controller at the time, which made like life a little easier. Like I could play Mario Galaxy with a freaking PS3 controller. And I thought it was really cool. But that's just me.
Shout out to Cloudy Mind Gaming.
Cloudy.
All right, Dre, you've been quiet. Come on.
I don't know. I'm just kind of neutral on it, honestly.
Uh-huh.
it's like, okay, I see both sides of it. It's just like, yeah, it affects it and it's bad, but at the same time, it's always going to be there. So it's like, how do you really combat it? You know what I mean? Like, hacking, in my opinion, is needed because of the fact like it shows like basically where the errors are, and you need people like that. And unfortunately, there are always going to be people who exploit everything, even though like was I mean, and it's bad, but at the same time, it's just like, I mean, was it? I mean, I'm not gonna lie. I mean, if I knew I could get a game for free and I didn't have to pay for it, I'd do it. Damn right. If someone told me I could get Octopath of Travel for free and all I gotta do is download this and download that and with Bamboom, I got it. You damn right. I'm gonna do it.
Well, with Gamers Club Unlocked gone, I'm sure it'll probably skyrocket now.
Oh yeah,
Oh.
that was a big help in the whole piracy thing. Was that it made games cheaper, and
I think that was just an amazing thing to have. You know, 20% off any game and accessory. Plus, you can still build up your points to get certificates for money off of anything in the store. And it's like, why would you do away with something that's so popular?
I think what they should have did was instead of canceling it, for like newcomers, you can only get that 2 years. You couldn't stack it. And I think for the people that already had it stacked, you couldn't add any more until it expire, and then you can only just buy one card every 2 years. Or if they just want to make it every year, I mean, that was still, that's still good for 1 year because all you gotta do is buy 2 games, and basically you taking advantage of it. But I don't think they should have did away with Gamers Club Unlocked.
Yeah, and without any notice, though. Without any notice.
Yeah, they just should have had it where, okay, newcomers, you can't stack it. If you try, it won't work. And the people that already got it stacked, that won't be expired to, 2019, 2020, you can't come and, add another 2 on to it because it won't work. And that's how they should have had it.
Shout out to Rain G4.
Hello.
Okay, Dre. Well, what else were you saying?
Was it? It's just, I don't know. I'm kind of just neutral on the whole thing as far as like piracy because, like I said, I see both sides, and I can't say that I've never downloaded nothing illegally before. Or hell, I illegally downloaded music and a few games here and there and stuff like that. I mean, like I said, it's one of the things where, like I said, it's just like I said, I see both sides of it, so I don't really know how to really feel.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Exactly.
And because it's just like, I feel like you need it, and yeah, it sucks. Like I said, if anything, at the end of the day, it's all gonna come down to how you feel morally. And like I said, like, now, don't get me wrong. Like for instance, like with Splatoon, would I ever download Splatoon illegally? No, because I actually like it and I will support it. Now, if it's something like, let's just say, Let's Go Pikachu and Let's Go Eevee. I think we all know my stance on that, so we will move on.
Can you just say it, please? Could you just say trash, please?
Oh my god!
Trash.
Oops, messed up.
But now we will move on.
Cloudy Mind Gaming. What up, Cloudy?
Cloudy.
So, are we done with this topic?
Well, yeah. Well,
Yeah, I mean, I'll put it as it's always going to be hackers. I mean, whatever man makes is going to be hacked. There's nothing that man made that can't be, hacked. Once you learn the program or understand it, yeah, there are some programs that's hard to hack. But once you keep at it and understand it, then it's unlockable. You can get into it. It's just going to take time. Some stuff is just easier than others to hack. but man is never going to make something where it just can't be hacked. I'm sorry, they're not.
Oh no!
If it's made by human, it's going to be hacked by human.
Exactly. And let me tell you this real quick. Let me just throw this out there as like a final thought for the piracy. If it wasn't for piracy, we wouldn't have Netflix. We wouldn't have any of the music streaming services like Spotify and all the other stuff. The internet would not be what it is today if it wasn't for piracy. Because originally, the guy who created Napster made it an easy way to get free music from CDs.
Yep.
And then from then on, that caused the company to not only that caused them to sue him and to ruin him for all that he's worth, but eventually it got to a point where it showed like he had like he was a smart guy, very smart guy. Had a drug problem, but he was a smart guy. But you know what person doesn't, you know, if you have a lot of money apparently. But I think what happened, there was a point in time where Napster kind of kicked in. Then after Napster was taken down, then people started to copycat Napster, and that was when LimeWire was created and all the other stuff. Then people started, then big companies would allow you to download stuff, and then they would kind of like just put like they would call giving your computer AIDS. They just started infesting it with viruses and stuff. Mm-hmm. So that way, that whenever you downloaded it, your computer got a virus, and you're getting punished for it, harshly for it. But then after that, the Pirate Bay kicked in when LimeWire died, and therefore there was still issues with that.
Oh, isn't it?
They take it down and then they put it back up and then stuff, and then there's like the dark side of the internet where you can go to like those.
No, honey, we're not speaking on the dark side.
No, I know. I'm just saying that like there's people that create secret websites that you can download stuff.
We not hitting on the dark web. We good.
Oh no, we're not. No, we're not. But I'm just saying. I'm just mentioning that there's still there's those options as well. But that leads to that you can get arrested.
Laughing at your comment about computer AIDS.
Because that was the thing. You get your computer AIDS. Then after all that, look at what it is. Now it's more easier. Now people are too lazy to even attempt. Now the only people that are really, you know, into trying to hack stuff are people who A, really need it to be free, or B, people who just love to like tinker with, you know, electronics and stuff just to see that they can do it, and then they do it and they do that because now it's easier. Because like, look at that, now we got games. What is it? What is the Game Pass for the Xbox?
I still don't see how they profit from that, but whatever. That's another topic.
Hey, but the thing is that they might be making something from it, so they're making something from it because it's still up and running. And now Nintendo's about to do this thing with their old classic games where they make it go online. So that is already, and one thing that kind of ruined the pirating community is updates, because updates, you're like, oh look, I could play online for the first week and then I'm never gonna be able to play online again after the update. Yeah. So I'm like, whatever. So I think that's the reason why games have taken a more multiplayer approach, because you can literally get a ROM game or whatever. Like, you can't really hack Splatoon 2 with Nintendo. You can now with the Switch, because given the flaw, but like
yeah,
you
but
can't hack something like that.
Go online with pirate games on the Switch, though.
What do you mean?
I don't think you can play multiplayer games that have been pirated on the Switch.
Not anymore. I mean, you still can, because it's a flaw in Nintendo's system. But if Nintendo sees something awkward or off balance during the update, your Switch is dead. You get banned for breaking the rules. So the thing is like, there's certain ways that you're supposed to hack something so that way it's undetectable by whatever. And then so I don't know, but it is what it is at this point. I'm glad that piracy makes people innovative and it makes them create it and make things easier for us, because what happened was is that
necessary evil.
Yeah, it's a necessary evil, yes, because if you think about it, like, look, remember how, you know, back in the day, like in 2000, like the early 2000s, like back in the day, you would buy a DVD, go home, have to take the CD out of the case, put it in the thing, find the stuff, and use a remote control. Well, when piracy was a thing, people just download the movie. It would take you maybe about like an hour to 3 hours back in them days. Then maybe even longer because it was DSL back then. But then, then after you finish downloading the movie, you could rewind it, fast forward it to anywhere you want using your mouse and things like that. You could burn it onto a CD, and it just made life easier when you realize, holy crap, look at all the money I'm saving. Then it becomes an addiction and it becomes easy. When you look at something like Netflix was created for that sole purpose, because Netflix made it so, instead of like, now, do you even have an urge to like want to burn a movie anymore?
No.
It's more work to burn a movie now than it is for you to just go on Netflix and see it. You know? So that's the point now. But now it's creating this divide now where these certain shows are exclusive to these certain streaming services. So people are still gonna be pirating still. But like people are like, I ain't gonna pay for Hulu. You crazy? Be like, okay, I need to watch The Handmaid's Tale, but I am not paying for Hulu. So they just do that. So that's the only cool thing that I could really say about it. Like, honestly, is that it makes the future a little bit easier, but at the end of the day, people are going to get greedy, and it's going to be like a bunch of people and a bunch of streaming services, and eventually people are going to be like, well, I'm mad because I have to be a part of all these streaming services.
Well, I mean, even though you had this
here though, I mean, I don't mind it. I have Hulu and I have Netflix.
But like
Hulu's cheap, so.
Well, no, I'm just saying, like, okay, so for example, Star Trek Discovery is exclusive to CBS Access. If you're a huge Star Trek fan, you don't give a crap about anything on CBS except for Star Trek. Yeah. So is it worth paying $9.99 or whatever, how much it is a month just to watch Star Trek?
Because you still gotta look at it, even though, you have like that show that come on, Channel 2, CBS. You have Power that come on Stars.
I love Power, but I ain't been able to watch this season.
But there's still a ways around it to watch that, even though you don't have Stars. And you can Showbox is one of them. You can download Showbox on your phone and actually watch the episode. You can watch the whole season. It was like 6-7 seasons of Power. You can start from the beginning and watch every episode. They got Cody. You can do Cody. You can do Terrarium.
Careful with Cody, because they be hiding like malware in there. You gotta get the malware out. So you gotta be careful with Cody.
Oh, okay. Well, you got Terrarium.
This is the new. But this is the new. What you're saying is that this is the new
age.
Age of piracy.
Yeah.
Where people.
Shout out to Stormy Life TV. What up, Storm?
What up, Stormy Life? But the thing is that the difference between Terrarium is that what it does is that, or like Terrarium or Showbox or anything like that, what it's doing is that it's going to a specific particular website that somebody uploaded it, and then it's just streaming from that website. So technically the app itself is not it's not illegal.
Yeah.
But the things that you're accessing is illegal.
Yeah.
And so that's the problem. So that's still a form of piracy. You're not buying anything, you're streaming something.
Right.
And you're not downloading it, hopefully. So
well, I mean, you can they have options to download.
If you want to watch later.
At that point, that's when it becomes sketch. When you
sketchy.
stuff, that's when they start looking at that type of thing. But
But you won't believe how many people, I talk to that says that, they're tired of cable. They want to go to something else.
Yeah,
They want
cable's
they
too
want
expensive.
they want to know about this Cody. They want to know about Showbox. Like, like what is it? How do you get it? Because I'm tired of paying for cable. Or I don't even be at home to watch cable like that.
Cable,
Cable too
cable
expensive.
go up every single year. If they didn't do that, I'm sure more people would probably stick with cable. But considering they're a monopoly, like we really don't have like Google Fiber here, or Google Fiber is not in a lot of locations. So you have to deal with either your local cable companies or you have to deal with these stupid satellite companies in order to get these TV stations and stuff. So it's like they're monopolies, and they claim that, the price hike or whatever is with the networks themselves, not with them. And they have to comply with what, these networks and things want. And then they go up price every year. I got sick and tired of that mess. So now I only have to deal with it with my internet, as opposed to calling about my internet and my cable.
Well, see, that's another thing with internet. I don't understand how they nickel and dime you on data. It's costing them nothing. You don't have to make it. You know what I'm saying? It's just data, but it's like they nickel and dime you so much on with cable, with internet. Like, oh, if you want the fastest and blah blah Skippy, give us $100 and some dollars. Like, man, just give me the speed and be happy with $50. You got millions and millions of customers. You mean to tell me you couldn't set a set price, $50 for whatever unlimited, data? Like, come on, man. It don't take nothing for you to push a button and there go the signal. You're not making the signal. It's not hard work. You know what I'm saying? So it's like I understand the companies because they're greed. That's greed. That's money. Here's a plan one. Here's a plan two, all the way up to plan four, which is the highest. But come on, man, it's just data. At the end of the day, it's just data.
Okay. So yeah, it's a hot mess. Shout out to James Story. What up, James? Okay, so we moving on.
Yeah.
All right. So next topic. I guess we'll discuss censorship in video games. All right. And I'm speaking about censorship and things such as like, censoring boobs, censoring body parts, and things of that nature. You have that happens in video games. And then you have some video games that actually, I don't know, you play as a quote unquote active shooter. And
that was fake.
Like that. So I understand gaming is art. I'm not hating on that at all. But at the same time, in light of all this stuff, that's going on, to me, I feel that's a bit distasteful, in reference to games like that. But as far as censorship in gaming, I don't think there should be. I really don't. I don't understand why we body shame all the time. Everybody have, body parts or whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
And why is it that there's a lot of people that are so overly sensitive about these things? Not only that, this kind of goes hand in hand with, like, for instance, our old school cartoons. Y'all remember Tom and Jerry, things like that. And there was rolling up and smoking cigarettes in that cartoon. There was them beating each other with frying pans and irons and ironing boards. That growing up, we always knew that was just make believe. It was just a cartoon. None of us ever wanted to say, hey, let me take this frying pan and beat somebody upside the head because I saw it on the cartoon. Let me smoke a cigarette because I saw it on a cartoon. I never grew up thinking that way. And I mean, I don't, and they don't show those cartoons anymore on TV. And to me, I think there's a fine line, I guess, when it comes to this topic. But I feel that is just, I think that's a little overboard, in my opinion, because it seems that people in the United States are overly sensitive about things, you know, or they want to blame these cartoons, or blame the video games for their children's actions. No, I would say, how about blame yourself for your children's actions? Are you raising your children, or is the TV and the video games raising your children? Sometimes you got to look at these types of things too. I mean, I don't have any kids. I can't really comment on that. I'm commenting on how I grew up, and how I grew up watching these cartoons. I'm cool. I'm still here. I've never wanted to go out and hit somebody or beat somebody based off of what I've seen on a cartoon or a video game. So
Yeah.
that's my 2 cents on it.
I guess for me, censorship, it's a little ridiculous, especially because like movies, they do far worse things sometimes. The thing is that movies, they like people like politicians or anything like that will always blame movies, video games, or something for something happening. And you know what? Look, I'm not gonna fully 100%. I'm not gonna 100% say, you know what? Look, that there may have been people that have played Grand Theft Auto and have been influenced by that, but I'm not saying that 100%. But I'm just saying, whose fault is it? Is it the game developers? Is it the game itself? No, it's the mentality of the person. Each person has a certain way of how they view things. Because back in the day, Mortal Kombat was a big deal. It'd be like, oh, you see blood, that's not good. That's not good. And so back then, things look cartoony in general. Now games are getting to a point where it's realistic, so people look at it. But the majority of these politicians don't even play the damn game. They just see somebody play it and they'd be like, oh my God, that's appalling. Oh my God. Like I remember when Pokemon was a big deal, they were trying to censor Pokemon in general because one, they didn't like the idea that Pokemon used the word evolution because of the Darwin theory and creationism, and there was that whole entire thing. And then people saw that Pokemon was actually really glorified cockfighting, if you think about it. They just said that what it is that you enslave these Pokemon, you carry them with you, and then you force them to battle for money. and like when you look at it that way, you're like, damn, that's kind of true. I mean, it's true. Mm-hmm. And then they say, oh, look, Pokemon has like the best healthcare system. They're fine. You just take them over and they're instantly healed. None of them really die. But the thing is that like, so they had to censor the cartoon and things like that because like, it was just like, it was amazing that Pokemon came out when it did and how popular it got. So like, when you really look at it from the context of what it actually is, as like from an adult point of view, you're like, wow, that is kind of creepy. Because the thing is that like, just like these popular video game franchises, you're like, what kind of messages is it spreading? Because when I was a kid, I'm not gonna fucking lie, I wanted to throw a ball at my dog, pretend I was capturing it. No, I'm joking. I never did. I never did though. I never did. I swear. No, well, I didn't have a dog at that time, so I didn't. But like whenever I saw, I'm like, oh, I wish I had a Pokeball to throw, but I never did.
Did you ride on the short bus?
Yeah, I did.
Now we understand America.
Let me explain what happened. So I had a friend, he had ADHD, right? And he was never like okay, he would be a little extra when it came to Pokemon. Like when we went to go see Pokemon, the first movie, he brought all his Pokemon merchandise, everything from Game Boys, his Pokemon cards, all his plushies, his little figurines, and then he put it on the seat next to him and was talking to his little Pikachu plushie and say, "It's okay, Pikachu. Are you excited? Can you see the screen?" My friend was crazy.
Yeah,
And then, so when the scene comes, spoiler alert, where Pikachu is slapping the clone Pikachu is slapping Pikachu over and over again, my friend was crying hysterically, like he couldn't stop. He's like, "Pikachu, fight back, Pikachu!"
wow.
And I was like, I don't remember. I think we were like 11 at the time. I don't remember how old we were, but like, I just remember it was ridiculous that he was crying. But yeah, I can see how sad it is. But regardless, is that he never acted a certain way. Like we pretended that we had Pokemon battles with invisible Pokeballs and stuff like that. And we used our imaginations and we played the card game and things like that. But we never got to a point where we like were roughhousing, like when like Dragon Ball Z show about fighting, right? So Dragon Ball Z, me and my friend, we would pretend that we were going Super Saiyan or Kaioken at the time, like Kaioken, blah, blah, blah. And we would pretend that we would hit each other, but it'd be like we would be at a distance, so we would probably be looking stupid.
Well,
What?
Are you guys still friends?
Nope. Nope.
No. Well, the thing was is that he moved away, and then we lost contact. But we're still friends. We're just not. We just haven't seen each other for like years, though. But we're still friends to an extent.
Comment. He said, "I bet if most of these politicians who have a problem with these video games was making money off of them, we wouldn't be hearing about how bad they are."
Exactly. Exactly. And I'm just saying, like, this will be like my last little critique on this. But like, censorship in video games is, I think it's good to like. There's a rating system in games.
Exactly.
Done. And I'm saying, look, if you are a parent and you don't understand the rating systems of video games, your kid is asking for a game called Grand Theft Auto. Grand Theft Auto, stealing cars. If that doesn't raise a red flag, and you're letting your little 6-year-old, 9-year-old kid play it because he's crying or whatever, instead of giving them something like Shrek or some other game that's out there that they could play that's like based off of a little kids movie. Now, there's some parents that did buy games like that, or people that buy Nintendo specifically for that reason, you know, because of the games are very kid-friendly and stuff. Like if you look at something like Conker's Bad Fur Day, now that one was a little bit on the side where it looked like it was a little kid game. It looked like it was a little kid game, but it was really like adult jokes. And so like there's certain games like that, yeah, that developers do like can hide stuff and make it look like it's a kid's game, but stuff. But if you're gonna buy games and you don't look at the rating system, look, if it's all the parents out there, E is for everyone. That's for everyone. There's also KA, which is kids and adults. There is there's rated M for mature, rated T for teen, and rated X for adult. So like I don't see what's so hard about that. People don't read.
You would think they would have taken care of the censorship problem where you wouldn't have censorship in the video games because of their rating. That's the point of having the rating system.
Exactly. That's the point. And the thing is that these parents don't take responsibility for their damn children's actions. Why aren't you, as a parent, watching your kid? I understand that you cannot watch every single thing that they do. I get it. I understand that you have to work and there's things that you do and your kids end up watching or playing something. But do not blame the game. Blame the fact. Blame your parenting skills. Blame your friends' parents. Blame the kids' friends' parents. Whoever is watching your kids, is the responsible adult in that situation. And if they don't monitor what their kids are seeing, then that is their problem. If their kids are influenced by something, because the thing is that, look, we live in a very different world now where everybody is hella sensitive. Even adults of today are hella sensitive. Even if, like, that's the thing. Like, technology has made us hella sensitive because we're always reading words. We're looking at social media. People have their own opinions, because the thing is that I think the reason why the world has become so PC is because of the fact that when you're behind the keyboard, you're not afraid to say what is on your mind like that. You don't take into context like, oh, this is just some random stranger on the internet, so let me just write the filthiest trash that I can about this person, because they're not real. You know, they should be able to take the words and whatnot. But then you don't realize what you're writing. And then at that point, you realize that it gets you into trouble. And then the fact that you wrote it, it comes back to haunt you, because the internet is a footprint of what you left. And those footprints don't go away. So you gotta, even if you deleted them, they do not go away. They will come back to haunt you. This is why people are very, very sensitive, because social media and all these other things, they kind of show the real you, because people don't know how to be real to people anymore. We don't really leave our houses like we used to and just, you know, go and make friends with people like we did when we were little, when we were younger. Like, kids, this generation, especially.
But can I expand on something? But can I expand a little bit on that though?
Well,
go ahead.
Buddy Mine said if they find you with a rap.
Okay. It's not even so much of the fact that people don't know how to be real with people. It's the fact that people want to be able to say what they want to say without the consequences of what they say. Like, if I was to go up to a random person and say, you a faggot, I could potentially get hit. But if I just say it over the internet, I can say whatever the hell I want to say, and I don't get hit. Like I said, it's more so of a bitch ass mentality. It's you want to say what you want to say, but you don't want to have the consequences of what you say. And that's the problem. People don't want accountability.
Yeah.
It's not even so much the fact that people don't know how to talk to people. It's the fact that they see a world where, oh, hey, I can say and do whatever I want. And I'm just, I can't take, everyone can't take it too seriously because it's just the internet. First of all, I don't buy into that mentality whatsoever. That's the dumbest mentality, first of all. But like I said, it's literally just people who it's cowards. That's what they are. They're these little keyboard warriors. They ain't fucking cowards. Because like I said, if literally, I wish half the shit that people have said about me over the internet, you say it to my face. Come to me and say it. I bet you won't. Because you don't want me to hit you. Because you don't want to deal with my response. You want to be able to what you want to say and be able to sit in your little home or your little basement, or wherever the fuck you is, and be able to laugh and kiki about it. And that's the main problem. People are cowards. People live in fear. People want to be a shit because, like I said, if anything, all the internet's doing is showing you, yeah, there's a lot of shitty ass people out here. They're just shitty people. They're like, ooh, yeah, I can go on the internet and be shitty and be awful and be crude and rude and this, that, and the third, because you can just let out your inner evil.
Miss K
That's
said,
really what it is, in my opinion.
Because you never know who's behind the computer. MFers can be found.
Oh yeah,
no. That's why I'm totally cool with people who say a lot of these fucked up things over the internet and then they get fired. You damn right you deserve to be fired.
Yep.
You damn motherfucking right. If you're sitting here and you saying all this racist ass shit, I don't want you working for my company. Hell no.
Yep.
No, I don't want that representing my company.
Yeah.
And like I said, because people think that, oh, well, because it's over the internet, I can just say and do whatever the hell I want. And it's like, no, you can't. Okay? Stop being a freaking coward. And if anything, hell, just keep it to yourself. That's still, but no. Oh, people just think that, oh, well, I can just say and do what I want to do. And I'm like, no. Just, nah. And listen, no, I'm sorry. I know I got real.
Oh no, I agree.
No, it's just I hate that. I hate people who
therapeutic. They're therapeutic. Get it out.
Yes, like I hate people who think that they can just say and do what they want to do over the internet because it's the internet. I hate that. And I hate the mentality of because it's the internet, oh, that means that I can just get away with murder. And I'm sorry, that's not the fucking case. You can't just say and do what you want to do. And people just say, oh, but he said it. Okay, but you still have to be accountable for what you said. If you said it, you said it. You know what I'm saying? I'm sorry. It really irks my nerves. It really irks my nerves because so many people think this.
Oh, no.
I can't tell you how many people I have dealt with who think that just because it's the internet, oh, you ain't supposed to feel no type of way about it. Oh, what? Excuse me? Like what? Like I mean, can you imagine having a child and someone just wanting to come for your child? Oh, but you ain't supposed to take it serious because it's the internet.
Mm-mm.
You just came from my family, but I ain't supposed to take it serious.
Mm-hmm.
You just talked about my mother, but I'm not supposed to take it seriously. Like, just I don't get it. But as far as the whole thing with censorship, I'm sorry. Look. I don't know why America's still living in this. We're in a censorship era. First of all, I have heard so many kids. Because look, personally, yes, I want a child, and I've been around kids. It's like out of all different ages. Like I said, I have cousins of all different ages. Just hell, I've had friends of many different ages.
Wait a minute.
They know way more shit than what you think they know, parents.
Right. Wait a minute. Shout out to Miss Tech Not Fancy. Miss Tech said folks who talk crazy are still children mentally. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, it's like what gets me is these parents want to protect their children from like all this shit. But I'm like, do you not understand the types of things that your children are talking about with other kids? I've literally sitting here listening to kids talk about shit like Hitler and sex and go way more into depth about it than even what I do. There are some kids, I mean, hell, like, now, I'm not saying it literally like, oh, I joined into the conversation, but I've heard kids talk about like, ooh, what they like sexually and all this shit. And I'm just sitting here thinking to myself, if you parents only knew the type of shit that your children are talking about, they know. And especially in today's world, they know.
But kids always know. Kids always knew. That's the thing. It's like kids always knew that. I don't understand.
That's why I say this whole mentality of kids are stupid. No, they're not. They are not as dumb as what you think they are. They're not. They are, like I said, yes, they're young. Yes, their minds are impressionable. But don't ever think that your kids are dumb. Like I said, there were a lot of things I knew that now that I'm older, I realized, you know what? I don't know if I really should have known that at that age, but I knew it.
Yeah.
I'm sure there were things that we knew that we really shouldn't have known, but we did know.
Yeah.
Which is why I'm like, but why are we still trying to do censorship? Why are we trying to act like the internet's not a thing? I'm like, oh, well, a kid can't see kids.
But a kid
sucks
on
how
a
many
tit.
Huh?
Never mind.
Like, I'm just in here like, I'm like, hell. But your 9-year-old kid is probably sitting there looking at tits or looking at looking at bikini models and all this shit on Instagram.
Said, where are the parents at? Parents are not being parents.
Yeah, but
here's the thing though. But even if you but you can't here's the thing though. When it comes to trying to censoring your children, I say trying to censor. There is such a thing as too much censoring, in my personal opinion, because I would never want my child to be so far in the dark about some things to the point where when they do meet somebody that will basically suggest something to them, and then they're like, well, I'm curious about it. Yeah. I would at least rather my child to be educated and know what's going on. And that's the problem, because it's like, and I've even said this to y'all, you know, like in private that like, look, I'm sorry, my children will know what sex is. I'm not gonna sit here and act like, like if I have a daughter and she says, "Daddy, what's a ding-a-ling?" I'll tell her what a ding-a-ling is. The scientific term.
Yeah.
It's the male anatomy. That's what males have ding-a-lings, females have cuckoos.
Yeah.
or coochies, or whatever you want to call it.
Will, you ain't never heard
The
that.
only reason why I said cuckoo was you know why I said cuckoo.
Cynthia Lee Fontaine, yeah, but
Yes. I don't know why that came to my mind.
like,
But no, but women have coochies and men have ding-a-lings. And like I will at least let them know, hey, this is what's going on. This is your body. And I feel like, look, even kids need to know this is what's going on with your body. This is your health. And like I said, and it shouldn't be, I'm not gonna tell my son what a penis is or not tell my daughter what a vagina is. No, you need to tell them.
Your kid is pregnant.
Especially if your daughter has a vagina.
Pregnant and not even
know.
how.
Yeah, like
next thing you know, your kid is either pregnant or got somebody pregnant because nobody ever explained these things to them.
yeah,
Right?
and parents
And
are
I'm just
scared. Parents are scared to let their kids know because look, I'm gonna tell you this right now. Look, I know it's ridiculous and I know it sounds horrifying to a lot of people and things like that, but you have to educate your kids.
Yeah.
Because the thing is like, this is the thing, even on the internet, a 12-year-old, an 11-year-old, 10-year-olds can speak with people that are 30, 40, 50 years old and not know because there's no picture to it. And kids are literally having Twitter accounts at young ages, and these kids talk or they say things like, these little kids have YouTube channels, make a little video, and then all the hateful comments that they get. And like just like all this stuff. And the thing is that like, look, they want to censor the internet to kids. Unfortunately, we live in a world where you can't do that because the internet is literally this world of information. It's very informational. And if a kid wants to find out something, a kid can find out. If I like right now, we live in a world where like if somebody cursed at a kid in a different language, he could type that thing up on Google and be like, oh, I know what you call me, like, or whatever. But like we live in a world where their kids are living on the computer. They live like there's kids now that are 18. Like it baffles my mind that there are 18-year-olds that were born in 2010. I know I just can't believe that 18 years passed. That just seems like I just like it like in 2008. I mean, oh my god, wait, am I can I even math? Am I mathing? No, I'm not mathing.
No, you're not.
2008. I'm sorry, 2008.
No, 2000, honey.
No, not 2000. Okay, am I stupid?
If they were born, honey, if they were born in 2000, they'll be 18 this year.
I thought Will was joking. Wait a minute.
In my brain, no, because we were talking about early 2000s, and I was like, I was lost. Give me a second.
Oh my god.
Okay. Kids are 8 years old now in 2018. From 2010. Okay.
So bad as that chick that posted that tweet that went viral.
Hey, wait a minute. I didn't go and say that freaking London was like Mars or some shit. Okay? Not say that. But yes, I was stupid with my math. I'm very stupid with my math.
We heard from Dirty. Dirty, unmute yourself. You woke yet? Because you was asleep. That's why I muted you. Wake up. I guess he's still asleep.
But now we have kids these days. We have kids these days that now are just they're grown up and they are attached to the internet. Generation X is what it is, right?
Yeah, something like that.
Something like that.
Something. Or Generation Z? Is it Generation Z?
No, I don't know.
I don't know. Okay, we're on Generation something, okay? And
wait. No. Basically, like, Lynn would technically be Generation X. Me and you, Will, we're Generation Y. And then after that, it's Z or some shit. I don't know.
Okay, so there's Z. So now we are literally, now if you look at a kid that was born in the current generation, whatever, and we look into the future, they can multitask like anybody's business. They can watch a TV show, play a video game, and do all these crazy things that they can multitask. That's like a huge benefit. And the thing is that technology has evolved these kids to do many great things, but at the same time, with the memes and things like that, we as adults don't really like or care about the memes. We think it's stupid. And then we don't understand why these kids find it so stupid. But then eventually these kids end up making jokes because stuff happened so long ago, it just doesn't exist to them. It doesn't exist. So the whole Hitler era doesn't exist. So to them, they joke about it. They joke about it and they don't get the seriousness that's behind it because they weren't born in that time. I wasn't born in that time. You know, the thing is that when you can joke about something that you fully don't understand. This is why kids joke and say what they say and they mean because they don't understand. And that's where education is important. You need to educate. And a lot of these people don't even educate because these kids are now learning themselves. Once you learn how to read in school, you don't need school no more, technically, but you need it because you need the piece of paper that tells you that you can get a job, that tells you that you've sat through it like everybody else and went and done stuff. There's kids that can do Photoshop better than a person that went to college can do Photoshop. Like a 12-year-old kid can do something that like somebody my age, you know, is trying to do, you know, and do it better. You know, so at this point, we live in a world where everybody can see you. All eyes can always be on you at any point in time. It really doesn't matter. Nothing is secret anymore. So if nothing is secret anymore, why censor it? Why censor it? I mean, at this point, there are horrible things that you should censor, like anything that's on the deep dark web or whatever should be. You know, that should be censored.
Yeah, but there's ways there's things you got to do in order to get to the dark web.
Oh no, there's things you got to do. Yes, you do.
You know,
but I'm just saying that like even kids, probably there's kids out there that know how to get into the deep dark web, and we adults don't know how to do it, but they do, and that's scary. Because they can see things that we can't even see and we don't know. They like, okay, remember that there was like a time when videos were coming out at a point where like there was the Saddam Hussein hanging.
Oh yeah.
That video became popular. The 2 Girls 1 Cup video thing was popular. Like kids were watching that. Kids were watching
things on the internet from home.
Yeah, and yes, you can do that. You can block things from home. You can block Facebook and stuff like that. But parents get mad because they're like, now I have to go to this app and unblock. Parents are lazy now. They're lazy. They're lazy. They're like, I don't want to have to go to the box and unlock it and put the code in and blah, blah, blah.
And I guess you got to deal with your kids.
Then you got to deal with your kids and you got to watch and you got to see what they're watching. You got to be paying attention. You got to be a parent. You don't have kids if you ain't ready to have kids.
Dirty, we haven't heard from you in reference to the censorship thing.
The censorship thing.
Censorship in video games.
I don't think it should be. I mean, we're all adults, and that's what they had the ratings for. So, you know, if, you know, I'm over 21. So if I want to get an M-rated game, you know, I should be able to see whatever content the creator wanted to put in the game, you know, or in the cutscene or whatever they wanted to do. It should be for my eyes, you know. Like I've been listening to you guys, and it is true. The America is very sensitive, you know, and when you have, you know, like Europe and Australia, Russia, all of them are like, they have so many sexual things on TV, they wouldn't even attempt to show that here in the United States. But they're more comfortable with their sexuality over there. You know what I'm saying? They're not scared to have kids, you know, or show kids, you know, a woman in a butt in a thong, you know what I'm saying? Like you wouldn't have people in the uproar like they would here. You know what I'm saying? It's and I've been saying it for a long time. United States is just oversensitive about everything. I mean, everything. And you cannot stop a kid, especially this day and age, you cannot stop them for wanting to explore because that's what they're growing up with. Technology. What they have in their hand, cell phones at the age of 7. Your child has a cell phone
Not my kid.
with access to internet and whatever. They also have tablets. They also have computers, laptops. They have all this around them. So kids are going to be curious. But you have to teach your kid. Just like when I was growing up. My parents always told me, well, more so of my mom. My dad was more as he know better. You know what I'm saying? But my mom wanted to instill that is like, okay, I see you playing this. My mom be like crazy video game. And I remember when she first watched me play Mortal Kombat 3. And she was just like, okay, this is not real. It's just a video game. Because I don't want to see you going out there doing anything like you're playing with these games. She tried to instill that in me. You know what I'm saying? Like, hey, this is just video games. This is not real life. People don't do this for real. But you do have parents that, and I say the parents now are getting younger and younger. So it's like the younger they are, you know what I'm saying? They having kids and nobody taught them anything. So how can they teach their kid anything? When their mother had them at the age of 15, you know what I'm saying? And now they're 14, about to get ready to have a child, and your mother ain't taught you anything. So how can you teach your child anything? And like I said, you can't hide stuff from kids because they growing up with this technology and this technology in the home. So if kids going to explore, they're going to do it. Like if Johnny want to, go on YouTube or go on the website and tap in WWE Divas, he going to do it. But you still have to teach your child. You know what I'm saying? You still got to teach them, because now you have to teach your child at an early age, about the male and female body parts, because these kids now are having sex at the age of 11, 10. They just experimenting. They might not be having full-blown sex, but they're experimenting with each other, doing oral sex with each other. Like, you have to nowadays. You have to talk to your kids and let them know. Especially if you know that your child is real curious about things. When you have that child that's really curious, you have to. Some kids is kind of like, I won't say they in the dark. It's just not, they're just not interested in it for right now. But in time they will be, because they're around the internet. They're around social media. So you got to teach your kids. I know, when I was growing up, it was different. Your father sat down with you, had that talk, you know what I'm saying? Or your mother did. But it's like now, man, you got to do it at the age of 5. Because these little kids out here are wild. And
you know what's so interesting though? Like, I was in a conversation with was a couple of people, right? And when I told them that I was having like sexual thoughts at the age of 9, they were just looking at me like, "What do you mean? Like how? Like," and they try to equate it to like, "Oh well, my mom basically was at work and blah blah." And I was like, "No, like, I'll say it like this: it's not hard even as a kid to put two and two together. Like, okay, now and forgive anyone out there that is a little bit sensitive to talking about homosexual stuff, but we're about to get into that territory because I am homosexual. Proud of it. Anyway, so
Wonder why he said it though.
homosexual. I'm proud of it. Anyway, so like I remember like just looking at my fourth grade teacher and just having like this strange infatuation with him. And it didn't even come like, and it wasn't like, oh, someone told me. It wasn't like someone like, said, oh no, like, like I just had an infatuation with him. And it's just like, and they were sitting there telling me like, your mother must have just not even cared about it. And I'm like, no, it wasn't even that. It's just that. It's just how my mind worked. You know what I'm saying? I couldn't help it. It like I didn't. To be fair, I remember at that time I didn't even know what was going on. Like I mean, I knew who. Like I mean, now to be fair, I will even admit, like in my mind, I was like, "Oh yeah, I want to kiss him," and well, I won't go into everything, but still, like I said, I know I wanted to kiss, but I know I wanted to like kiss him, and I liked him, and I wanted to be around him, and it was like, you listen, like I said, and it was just a natural thing. You know what I'm saying? And now, mind you, at this time, I was not aware of what gay was, but I knew I was aware that yes, he was another male, and I liked him, and that I was, or rather, not even like I was infatuated. You see what I'm saying? So when people want to say like, "Oh, but kids are stupid," I'm like, I'm sitting here having feelings for a dude that is clearly way too old for me at the age of 9. No one told me that what was going on. I just it was just
it's cute when a girl does it apparently to people.
What do you mean?
Like okay, so like let's say that a little girl had a school crush on a teacher, right? Then parents be like, "Oh, it's so cute."
Basically, when a little schoolboy has a crush on his teacher, on his female teacher. People think that's cute. Now,
do they really? Because I feel like
it's more reverse. Like if like a little boy has like a crush on his female teacher, people will probably think, "Oh, that's cute too." But if it was like a female with her male, I think some people would probably find that weird. I don't know. Maybe that's just maybe me.
Well, it all depends on the age, because if he's like in his teens, like early teens, and it's and it's a female teacher.
No, we're just talking about like little kids, like just being like, oh, I think like
don't a 5-year-old having a crush on this little kindergarten teacher.
Yeah, like I mean that's like a crush, Like I mean, I've heard of where it's more acceptable for like boys to have crushes on their female teachers than really for female to have crushes on like, because you really don't see that with females. That's the weird thing. You don't hear them talk about.
No. I feel growing up, I felt the other way around that.
Well, no, I knew more dudes. Oh, I knew more dudes who were into their teachers than females.
I was the opposite. I knew more girls that had crushes on the male teachers because like that was rare growing up.
Well, yeah, by the time maybe you got to like middle school.
Well, I mean, it's rare. It's rare when you.
I'm talking about like elementary school, honey, not middle.
Yeah.
In elementary school, you only heard about the boys really doing that. It wasn't until middle school when it was like both sides of the spectrum started kicking in.
Mm-hmm.
And then by high school, we ain't even gonna go there.
Yeah.
But yeah, no. But I mean, it's just like yeah. But like I was saying though, but it's just like mind you, mother never told me nothing about gay. No one ever told me what it meant to be a homosexual or anything like that. And I'm literally sitting here full blown on like liking this person and wanting to kiss this person and be into this person. And it was like, I didn't even know, like, and I mean, and like I said, and no one ever explained it to me. Hey, no one had to. So it's like, I don't get this notion of kids are stupid. I'm like, what? And they were looking at me, and my friends were sitting there looking at me like, the fuck? You must be a very rare case. I'm like, what do you mean a rare case? I'm like, first of all, puberty happens for boys and for girls by at least the age of 9. That's the minimum age of when puberty starts. Or that rather, scientists, tracked it to be around the age of 9. right? So I'm just like, no, if anything, you're just a late bloomer, and that's fine. But is it really that uncommon? Because I'm like, I know for my family, I don't know how y'all's like nieces and nephews and brothers and sisters were. But I'll tell y'all even one even better. Okay, my cousin Steven. He was, like I said, I know he's gonna be mad. Well, I know my family gonna be like, why? Let me tell y'all this story really quickly. He was 9 years, mind you, 9 years old. He knew how to use the DVR and had recorded the Miss Hooter swimsuit competition. 9. And was literally sitting there and critiquing the guy. Who was critiquing them? Talking about, oh, she pretty. Oh, she too dark. 9. 9 years old.
Damn.
I said, it's not, no. And like everyone in my family said, you need to tell him, y'all need to talk to him. Like and like I said, my family didn't, and was it my aunt? She never told him nothing about sex. My grandmother never did. But he knew. He was literally sitting there critiquing him. Was saying, oh, she pretty. Oh, I like her hair. Oh, her skin too dark. Oh, she's the right shade. Too dark. And I was just, and I'm sitting there like, is this boy for real?
Cloudy Mind says Steve's the man.
Steve, look, let me tell you. See, like I said, they didn't want to listen because they wanted to be under the impression of, oh no, the kid dumb. I'm like, no, he ain't. Not if he literally sitting there talking about that girl too dark. I was more upset by the fact that he said the girl was too dark. I said, ooh. I'm like, that's colorism, but we won't go there.
All right, so I guess we'll move on to the final topic. And I have an article in reference to that. And that final topic is a 10% tax on violent video games. This was proposed by a Rhode Island Republican, if I'm not mistaken. Okay. So this story comes from gamesindustry.biz. And it says Rhode Island politician proposes violent game tax. Okay. So basically, the original story, I think it ran February 23rd, 2018. And basically it says, I'm just going to paraphrase. I'm not going to read the whole thing. It basically says that the Republican member for the Rhode Island State House, Robert Nordillo, if I'm not mistaken, III, has revealed plans to raise tax on violent video games to pay for mental health and counseling resources in school. Okay. So it says that here it says there's evidence that children exposed to violent video games at a young age tend to act more aggressively than those who are not. The bill would give schools the additional resources needed to help students deal with the aggression in a positive way. Apparently, he has a 93% approval rating from the National Rifle Association. Doesn't cite which evidence he's referring to. However, according to the research carried out by U.S. Secret Service, as highlighted by GLIXEL, less than 20% of school shooters played violent video games. Then he goes to say, our goal is to make every school in Rhode Island a safe and calm place for students to learn. By offering children resources to manage their aggression today, we can ensure a more peaceful tomorrow. So my understanding is this was probably, I think this was in response to that shooting that happened in Florida. So this is what he's proposing to do. So over and above the $60-some you pay for a video game, he wants to impose a 10% tax over and above that for violent video games.
I have so much to say on this. Oh my God.
Please go first.
All right, let me drag this fucker so hard.
Now wait a minute. Miss Tech Knock Fancy, she said, "Oh hell to the no, 10%. The fuck they smoking?"
Okay, hold up. First off, it made me laugh when I heard that the NRA was like for this.
Hmm.
I'm like, first off, how dare you? Okay, hold on. Okay, first off, let me tell you this. If a parent were to raise a kid and teach him how to use a gun or teach her how to use a gun growing up, and the kid knows how to use a gun and whatnot, the kid knows that the house has a gun inside the house, right?
Yeah.
So at this point, the kid will most likely know where it's located because we've established in the last topic that kids aren't stupid. So these things at this point is that, like I said, everything falls on the parent. There is a rating system. Like in guns, there's an age restriction on where you can get it, when you can get a gun. But apparently, anyways, all right. It's just that this topic is so broad because I understand, because they say that since having a gun is a Second Amendment, it is legit. But so is the First Amendment. The First Amendment also, video games, freedom of expression, freedom of all that stuff, that counts. So the thing is that which one does more damage? A kid playing a virtual video game of shooting aliens and zombies and other soldiers from a previous time, just shooting them in a virtual thing, and they're at home in the safety of their home. They're not outside. They don't have a gun. They're just there playing a video game, versus a parent who has a gun in their house, who the kid knows where the gun is, can physically go and grab it because of the parent's negligence of locking that gun and not unarming the gun or whatever. The kid knew how to load it, knew where it was. I'm just saying, look, if we're going to compare this shit to school shootings, and the NRA wants to blame violent video games, and then people want to blame the NRA for guns and all this other stuff, regardless, it is ultimately down to the parenting of the kid. How was the kid raised? What environment was he raised in? Or just in general, what environment were they raised in? What can we do to fix the environments that these kids are raised in? They are not focusing on the right problem. You need to focus on, they acknowledge that there's a mental health issue in there. About damn time. But it takes school shootings for them to protect their damn guns in order to acknowledge that there was a mental health issue, because people were claiming mental health issues before school shootings were like as mainstream as they are now. I'm just saying that this is ridiculous.
Well, you do
they're not focusing.
That some schools are starting to arm teachers with their own guns. These are prior military teachers, okay? Teachers who have had prior military. They still have to go through and take all these battery of tests and stuff. But they are going, some places, some states have actually passed this, where they are actually going to allow teachers to carry guns in school. That I don't agree with.
Great freaking idea. Yeah, when you see how badass these kids are, these teachers can lose their damn mind. And then they'll freaking pull out that gun and just start shooting kids just because they could. And the thing is that, look, I'm saying, look, putting guns into school is not going to fix the problem. Taking guns away from people obviously is not going to fix the problem. The problem is in the environment itself. When you ignore a problem like racism for too long, or when you try to deny all these things and just pretend that they don't exist, or pretend that all this stuff happens, then things start happening. Things are going to start happening. People are going to grow up with this really messed up mentality. If you're going to just ignore your kids and let them just be about and just think that the computer is going to be your babysitter because you're too lazy to deal with them, then why did you have kids? And then if you ask it, and you want to know why the result of this happened? Because people were afraid to teach sex ed to kids back in the day. If kids knew about sex ed back in the day, we would not have all this problems of teen pregnancy and all this stuff. And if there was, where they now encourage kids, oh, you can have sex, make sure you use a condom, make sure you take the pill, make sure you do this, make sure you do that. then kids are more educated, and we don't have that happen as much. Actually, teen pregnancy is down compared to where it was when kids were uneducated. There were kids that would look at porn on the internet and would look at stuff like this, and then they want to try it because they think that that's exactly how they think that that's what sex is going to be like, what they see in the porn, which they are going to be sadly disappointed. But I'm just saying that regardless, I'm just saying, look, regardless, it is. It's ridiculous because I understand that. Look, that there are two sides to every story. What overpowers what? I said the primary thing is that the focus is not in the right place. Do you blame gun owners? No, you don't blame gun owners. Do you blame violent video games? No, you don't blame violent video games. What you blame is the problems that are being ignored. People want to place a blame on something when the blame is really in themselves. And people don't want to admit that they are the problem. Politicians are the problem. You know, I'm just saying that like everything in general is the problem. Unfortunately, we will never be able to fix the gun issue because the guns have been in this country for so many years that you cannot just erase it out of nowhere. You can't do that.
Out there wanting to hold their guns.
The problem starts at home.
The problem does start at home. So you cannot erase guns from people. If people have it encoded in their DNA that guns are a thing, guns do kill. Guns' sole purpose is to kill, or to injure. There's also the sport. But number one, its primary focus is to kill. It was made for wars, and it was made as an advantage for wars and battles and stuff. So its primary focus was to kill and to kill quickly. That was what it was. The thing is that, so with that in mind, we allowed that to be open in a country like us. Other countries don't have this problem because gun issues, though guns were allowed at other countries at some point, they took some out, and some countries are better than others. But we are America, and America hasn't aged as well as all the other countries did. These countries have learned to live with other races way before. Now, at this point, America's at this point where there's still racism in this country, and we're supposed to be the freest country on earth. We're supposed to be the happiest nation. We're supposed to be and everything, but we're not. Because people have been ignoring problems. Presidents have been ignoring issues. It's been nothing but a political two-sided thing. We are literally split. We are not literally in a position where we agree on anything. If a Republican president wins a presidency or whatever, then all the Democrats are going to hate, and all the stuff on the TV is going to portray hate towards that president. But then when a Democratic person wins, since the majority of the Democrats are on TV and whatnot, and since it's socially okay to be a Democrat, you're not going to get as much hate on a Democratic president. So there's literally a there's a mix-up here. And then the thing is that at this point, and then if, like, it doesn't matter how you flip the script, there is always going to be an issue somewhere. Always an issue. And the fact that they want to do 10, now let's go back to the 10% on the video game thing, since that's what the topic is about. I'm just saying, look, the 10% video gaming.
Miss Tech said that back in the day, teachers used to whoop students' asses. I remember them days.
Yeah, they used to.
The principal used to have a paddle with holes drilled in it. You had to take your pants down, and he would whip your ass with that paddle with the holes drilled in it. Yes, I remember them days.
Yeah, that's true. They had the butt whooping teachers and things like that. But having a gun is literally not going to fix the problem. Giving a teacher a gun is not going to fix the problem. It's not going to protect the kids, because what if a kid gets mad and then they steal from kids can steal the gun from the teacher and use it against the kids?
I can see that happening.
Like, that could happen. Like, even if they put it in a lockbox or anything, teachers can be negligent too. The thing is that, like, it doesn't matter. They could put it in a lockbox, in a closet, hidden underneath something in the ground, whatever. Somebody, if a kid knows it's there, They can find a way to get into it because, like what we said, if it's man-made, it can be cracked. Just saying, it can be cracked. And the thing is that if somebody is willing enough to do it, they can do it. And I'm just saying, look.
And you're going to have that kid that's going to show you that he can do it.
Yeah.
You're going to be that one kid that be like, I bet I could get that gun. And he's going to do it.
A kid. Yeah, there's always a kid that could challenge the teacher. Now, the whole thing about them charging, saying, oh, how about 10% on mental health people? I said, how about the NRA? Whenever somebody buys a gun, they put a 10% tax on guns and ammunition, and then they donate that to mental health. I feel like that would be the better thing, because what is charging 10% on a video game gonna do? Because video games have a rating system, guns don't.
Mm-hmm.
And that's all I'm saying.
They've been trying to blame video games for this stuff for years.
Yeah, they've been playing video games. Like, okay, I'm like, look, how many people have you said? How many people, when Mortal Kombat came out, how many people have you seen out on the street, like fighting, like beheading people in the middle of the street in the United States of America? Nobody. Have you ever seen somebody like take a scissor sword and just kind of like, boom, right in front of you having a Mortal Kombat match right there? No.
Miss K said that's a good idea.
I think that's the better. I think that's a better idea. Charge the people who own guns more, because you need to have mental health. Your mental health needs to be in proper check if you own a gun. It makes more sense to charge the people who are selling guns an extra 10% or 20% than it is to charge people who are playing video games or watching movies. Why would you charge 10% on that? But because it's the NRA that's behind it, they wanna blame something else, so they don't have to pay for it.
Mm-hmm.
Miss K said evil doesn't need influence to do evil things.
Exactly. Because back in the day, before anything, violence was always a part of this culture. It will always be a part of it, whether we have TV influence or not. People knew that they had to kill animals to eat. People knew that they had to kill others to survive. It's a dog eat dog world out there. There's somebody going to be coming out there, and violence is there. People would always steal. People would always do this and all this other stuff. The difference is that we live in a technological world where we're inside our house, we're on technology. Not much crime is being done. But when you look on things and people could write an article, I could write an article, make it look official as shit, and people can share it on Facebook and will believe everything I wrote. Everything I wrote on that article. Share it, be all angry at what I had to say and all this other stuff, because people are lazy. People are lazy. They don't research. They don't do nothing. They are lazy. People are lazy. Parents are lazy for not raising their kids. Kids are like, everybody's lazy now because we live in a technological world. That's what happens.
Mm-hmm.
And people are constantly living in their decade, not realizing that this decade is what you need to focus on. You can't focus on how it worked yesterday, because it don't work like that no more. You need to focus on how it works today. You think, oh, just because some people believe that segregation actually worked. And then the thing is that I don't understand, so some people think that we should go back to segregation. No, it's not going to work. You need to understand that we live in a country where multiple races and people from different countries, we are a land of immigrants from people from different countries and different backgrounds. And this created the United States of America. United States. Okay, we are united. As people, we are united. We need to stay that way. We need to be united, but we're living as if we're divided. And a 10% increase in the video game thing, really? You're going to charge the entertainment when the main thing that you're gonna charge the influence and not charge what caused it? I don't understand. Like, I don't understand. Like, what is this backwards thinking that we're getting here? Because people, at the end of the day, politicians, Democrat, Republican, doesn't matter what the hell they are. They're only in it for the money. Why do we have 80-something-year-old people up in there in the office still? They should be retired.
I've been saying this for years.
Exactly. So why don't we have millennials running the country? Why don't we have people from this generation running the damn country? Because if we had people from this generation running the country, we would be in a far better and more progressive place, and things will probably actually get done, and things will actually feel like it was in the 90s or in the 80s where everything was good. Now, it's not perfect. There was issues, obviously, but everybody has nostalgia of the 90s. Like us, I have nostalgia of the 90s. Some people have nostalgia of the 80s. Some people have nostalgia of the 70s. And the thing is that things were good back then because we were young and everything was free and everything, but there was always a rebel cause. When you're a kid, there was the toys that you played with, the movies and the TV shows that you saw, the influential things. Then when you're a teen, there was all this stuff to rebel against your parents, like the rock and the music that you listen to and things. And the old people, and what do the older people always say? That music is trash. It's just mumbling. They're talking about all this sexual stuff. Music. Like, if you listen to music now, these kids are listening to this music. There's more curse words than have ever been in any generation nowadays. There's more sexual references than any other days. At least back then, people had to be smart about how they subliminally put in a sexual message or a drug reference in a song. But I'm just saying that this is completely wrong. They need to stop. Like, they need to stop playing a blame game. And they need to focus and realize that we need to elect people that are literally our age that understand what a mobile phone is. They understand what apps are. They understand how the internet works, because we live in the internet age. How are we going to explain to 80-something-year-olds? They're going to, obviously, net neutrality, that thing freaking passed. You want to know why? Because they knew that they could make money off of it. If millennials had been running that shit, that shit would have never passed. And this is a problem. Like in the Supreme Court, things are going to get done and whatnot. There's some people that are forward thinking, but there's some people that are so backwards that they still believe it's 1939. Like, they still believe that all this stupid stuff. Like, how are we still talking about the KKK in 2018? How is that still a thing? Like, how is that a thing? Because people can't evolve. People don't evolve. We still have the same people in office that were there 50 years ago. How? How is this a thing? And people need to learn to grow up. We as the United States of America got to learn to grow up. We're not growing up. We're staying the same age. And that's what happened. And we keep electing people like family members who believe and grew up and were brainwashed to believe the same things that their parents and great-grandparents believe. It's ridiculous.
Those great family values.
Exactly. I'm sorry. The problem is with people. The games, there should be no tax increase on anything unless if it's hugely beneficial to something. Okay, so like, for example, if guns are killing people and they want to blame mental health issues on people who have mental health issues getting guns and all this stuff, then why isn't the NRA creating a bill that says, okay, well, if you purchase a gun or ammunition or anything that's weaponized, you got to pay a specific tax, and then that tax will go directly to mental health. Then therefore, people can responsibly buy a gun, own a gun, and everything, and people will know how to use a gun. Still, will things happen? Yes. When you have a weapon of death in every home in America, even if the people are responsible or not, mental health can hit you at any point. And even if you are a person who has a gun, even if you are a person that is a gun owner, you are a responsible gun owner, you went through all the tests, you went through everything, doesn't mean that everybody in your household is exactly like you are. Doesn't mean that they're mentally healthy. If you neglect your issue one time, that's all it takes is one time for you to fail. Just like when it takes one time for you to have sex without a condom to get somebody pregnant. It takes one time. And that's the problem. And the thing is that with these weapons are getting more advanced too. They kill more people. And I don't understand why you would need an assault rifle in your house. I don't get it. I don't know why you would need something more than a pistol in your house. If you have to if the law is that you're only supposed to shoot once in some states, not shoot to kill, shoot to injure in some states, I don't understand why you need an AK-47.
Sometimes that's worse than you actually killing a person.
Well, sometimes that is worse than killing the person. But still, the thing is that look, regardless, you're hurting an entire family. At least the person is still alive. Now, if they can't walk or something like that or whatever, they can sue and get a freak ton of money for it. But the thing is that there's been too many people dying at the hands of guns. And a lot of these people cannot mentally handle it. Like, especially, we could even go in the cop territory. But, like, if we go in the cop territory is full of PTSD. A lot of these cops have PTSD from all this stuff. And the thing is that, like, they're scared of the people that they're trying to capture. And then these people who are being captured are scared of those that are supposed to, that are capturing them. So it's fear-free. It's fear fighting fear. And therefore, they will end ultimately. Fear will never. We're supposed to be the home of the brave, but we live in fear. Why do we live like the United States of America in home of the fear? We're not living the home of the brave. We're not living in any of that. And I'm sorry to get all like make this political or whatever, but I just hate when these politicians come into there. Whenever you mention a politician, you cannot mention politics when you talk about a politician. It's just not going to happen. And I'm just saying, look, this just needs to be discussed, that it would be smarter for them to put a tax on guns than it is to charge more for games. Games, if anything, release aggression more than what a gun does. You don't want to unleash aggression on a gun. The thing is that look at how fearful, like, okay, for example, fear. Remember, have you guys seen recently where that guy got shot by that white dude who was like, because they got over a parking spot? Did you guys hear about that?
Yeah.
Okay. The guy was scared for his life, and they justified it because that's the law in Florida. And the guy's going to get away from murdering a man, a father.
Apparently, it was in front of his family.
He did it in front of the kid and the wife.
Yeah.
What was the name of the law? It was
Stand your ground.
Yeah, stand your ground.
Yeah.
I put it to. I don't want to get off topic, but when I heard it, I had to see more for myself to actually see what the hell was going on. I put it to you like this. I'm not going to walk up on another man and shove him or hit him. I don't know what the hell's going on. Because I don't know what that man has, and that man don't know what I have. At the end of the day, I want to go home just like he do. And I'm not going to come and look, we can argue back and forth. We can call each other names all day. But I'm not going to put my hands on that man until he put his hands on me. Because at the end of the day, he did not know what that man had. And for that law, you can't be mad. That's the law over there in that state. If somebody pushes you or hits you and you feel scared, you can murder him right there if you want. But it just so happened he shot him in the chest, I think, and it killed him. And it just so happened his family was out there. But the whole situation behind it could have been resolved. All that it could have been walked away. If I see my wife, girlfriend, whoever arguing with a man, yes, I'm gonna step in, but I'm not gonna put my hands on that man because I don't know. As today, I don't know what he has. What I'm gonna do is try to get my family up out of there. If I got kids, yes, I'm telling her, shut your mouth, get in the car. I say my words with him, and we're gone. There's no need for her to argue with this man. And then for me to come and see the escalate, if I didn't see him putting his hands on her or my children as I was walking up, I'm not going to put my hands on him.
But what about how he spoke to him?
And I don't care how he spoke to me. I don't care if he called me the nigga from the Black Lagoon. That's still not going to make me put my hands on you. Because you have to think about it. I live in this state where if I'm carrying legally and someone touches me or do anything to me physically, I can shoot them. That's something you have to think about.
Which honestly, I still feel like is a joke, but okay.
I put it to you like I can't be mad.
No, I think it's a joke. I think honestly, it's a joke Like the whole stand your ground, in my opinion, it's a joke because all it basically is justifying you being a coward, in my opinion. Because I'm like this: if you're gonna say something to my wife or my child, and you're that bold to say something, and then when I step to you, instead of you being a man and actually handling it, you're gonna pull out a gun. To me, you're a coward. That's the coward's way out. Oh, I'm gonna pull out a gun because I was basically speaking in any shape, way, or form. Now I get what you're saying, Dirty, and you right. Because at the end of the day, yes, you should be more so mindful of getting your children and getting your children and your wife out of that situation. Because God only knows how even worse it could have went. You know what I'm saying? Like you don't know how someone is. I still think that I personally feel like no. If you are going to say something to someone's wife or to someone's child, and you can't at least be man enough to at least to hit with your fist, or you got to be a coward to pull out your gun, son. You a coward in my opinion. I'm sorry. That's the fucking bitch way of fucking doing it.
I agree.
Okay, at least he stepped to you as a man, and for you as another man, you can't at least resolve. Like I said, I feel like and I'm sorry, and I will always forever say it. Like I said, that whole stand your ground bullshit. It's another way of justifying people being cowards. People who think that I can talk all this smack. And then when someone comes back at me, and when they come at me, I'm scared for my life because I was a bitch ass nigga, and now I can kill you. Really? No,
but wait, let me play devil's advocate real quick. Let me step in. Let me just say this. Okay, look, I'm gonna play devil's advocate. The guy who got shot handle it differently? Of course he could have.
Yes.
I would have reproached the guy and said, why are you yelling at my wife like that? Because let's say that he was inside, this guy was cursing up at his wife and whatnot, and let's say that he had the keys. The wife couldn't move the car, so let's just say that was the case. Let's say that he just stopped by, he parked in the parking spot real quick, ran in, this guy wanted to start some shit. He goes and approaches, and then he starts talking and whatnot. At this point, knowing full and well that words have consequences, knowing full and well all this other stuff. So he knows that he was carrying, he was bold, and he knows he could pull out a gun and whatever. He was looking for an excuse at this point. So at this point, look, parking in a handicapped spot, dude was wrong for doing that. You don't park in a handicapped spot. You just don't. But then he goes into the store with his son, comes out pretty quickly after that, and then next thing you know, he goes and he hears yelling at the man, and maybe the man said something to him that caused him to run. He shoves the man to the floor. The guy pulls the gun out and the guy backs up. You see him backing up, but then the guy shoots him anyway. That's the problem. The problem is that the guy, yes, he shoved him. Yes. That gives the guy every right to get up and push him back or to defend himself with fists, because the guy used fists. He didn't use a gun to
honestly, look, and I'm sorry, and it's just like, to me, and I know this may just sound strange, but I just feel like if you genuinely feel like in your mind that you need to take it to that level that quick, maybe you really don't need to have that weapon.
Yeah.
I don't feel, because I'm sorry, I don't like, let's just say, like, even if I had a gun and I was talking smack and I see this dude with his wife, I'm not like even if he pushes me or he shoves me, I'm not gonna basically think like, okay, I need to basically shoot you. That's not. But I understand that everyone was in my mind. But in my thing, and like I said, I'm sorry. I think that, like I said, this whole stand your ground thing, it's bullshit. It's justifying people being cowards. Yes, the man basically stepped to him, and yes, he should have not put his hands on him. But for you to literally sit there and to literally take it to that level to now where this man is dead, what the literal fuck? Like, the fuck? And I'm sorry, and I'm gonna be freaking honest. Those were two white men. If it was, let's just say that the person who had the gun was black, would they be just as understanding?
No.
And I said it.
No.
Would they be understanding? They wouldn't be understanding. That's why I said, hey, that all this gun law shit is a double fucking standard. It will forever be a fucking double standard. I'm sorry. That's why I said no. I don't justify it because, like I said, I know for a fact that if I did it, they'd be with. Oh, you best believe there'd be so many people trying to sit there and say, "Hang this black man, send him to jail."
Under the jail, Dre.
Huh?
You'd be under the jail,
right? They'd be like, "Oh, how dare you how dare you kill this poor innocent white man with his child and his kid right there and all this shit." It's a double fucking standard. That's why I won't say, "Oh, well, I can understand." No, I don't. I don't understand. I don't understand. Like, how is it that if you're gonna talk shit and you're literally sitting here telling me, it would be one thing if he all of a sudden started going in on you and you didn't start nothing. You're gonna start shit, and then when this man basically shoves you, it's like, let me go kill him. The fuck? The fuck? I'm sorry. No. No. It's and like I said, the only reason why that man's getting away is because he's white. And I'm sorry, it's because he's white. And and no offense, Florida's already fucked. Was this in Florida?
Yeah,
I think it was.
Florida's fucked up anyway, and I said it. Y'all is a fucked up state. Y'all have fucked up laws. Y'all are literally fucked up people. Your legislation is fucked up, and y'all will forever be fucked up. And I said it. Fuck Florida. No, like I'm sorry, their legislation is fucked up. It will forever.
Look, well, I'll put it to you like this. I'm not gonna run up, but at this day and time, the way people is legally carrying, unlegally carrying. Till I be there in a minute. I'm not running up on nobody ready to fight. Now, if my wife and my children is in a situation and I see it, yes, I'm gonna step in. But the first thing in my mind is not to put my hands on this man, because put my hands on this man, it's not making me a man. First of all, I want to get my wife and my children back in the car where it's safe. Mm-hmm. Yes, I will be in his face, ask him, why are you yelling at my family? Now, if you need to yell at somebody, it's going to be me. But me trying to put my hands on him to show him that, I'm the tough guy. No, because I don't know what people are carrying nowadays.
Look, the reason why I get what you're saying. I really do. The only reason why I say that, reason why I feel differently. Okay. Let's just say I had a child and my child, and you said something to my child, and I'm talking about you said some real fucked up shit. I can't, and I repeat this, I can't basically sit here and say that I will not either want to swing or possibly will. I can't be responsible for the fact that look, I might be ready to swing on you because you just can't be talking about people's children. Should I want to do that? No. But at the same time,
I agree. I agree with you. I would probably want to punch the dude too. But at the end of the day, it's just words. At the end of the day, whatever he said before I got there,
again, that's
whatever he said.
That's what no. The whole
whatever he said before I got there to my wife or my child. Words can hurt. But words don't kill you. At the end of the day, the word ain't gonna kill you.
How do you? But okay, that's where we see differently because look, I'm sorry.
Because if I want to put my hands on that man, I want to put my hands on that man. But at the end of the day,
even more deadlier than a weapon.
That's in your mind.
No. That's what we personally differ.
Okay, but let me play devil's advocate again. In this particular scenario, the guy goes into the store. The guy is trying to be a quote unquote good citizen by walking up and say, "Hey, you can't park here." Then if the girl becomes all hostile and all this stuff like that, and being all this stuff, says, "I'm sorry, well, we're just gonna be in here for just a second. He's just getting some cigarettes real quick or whatever. He'll be right out and stuff like that. I don't have the keys. I cannot move the car or whatnot." And then after he said, "There's plenty of other parking around here. You could have parked right here. Why did you have to park in the parking spot? Blah, blah, blah." I'm trying to recreate the scenario. Then she goes and says, "Sir, I'm sorry. I'm not the one that was driving the car. That was my boyfriend. I told him not to. He went and he did it anyway." The guy comes out and say, "Yo, why you talking to my wife like that?" So why are you yelling? And he said, well, I'm not yelling at your wife. I'm just saying that you shouldn't be parking here in the parking spot, blah, blah, blah.
Well, to be honest, he should have minded his own business and none of this would have happened to begin with.
The thing is that, look, that's true. That's true. But these are people, what he should have done.
Busybodies. They want to put themselves in everybody's business. Okay, granted, he may have parked in a handicapped parking spot. You know how many people do that on a regular basis? You know everybody that parks in a handicapped parking spot? I mean, now granted, if this person is handicapped, then yes, and he has handicapped tags, I could see him fussing and complaining about that. Cool, whatever. But at the same time, like I said, people like to interject themselves in other people's problems all the time. Things that don't have anything to do with you. You want to speak on it and feel like you could say any and everything your heart to your heart's content with no consequences. So yeah, the man was probably on edge when he saw this man talking to his wife the way he did. Because when he came storming out of that store, first thing he did was push the man, and the man fell. And he stood there, and then the dude gonna pull out a gun. So like the man is standing here, he pushed you. Okay, yeah, he should not have pushed you. But then he's standing there. He's not approaching you in any kind of a manner. He's standing his ground.
Oh my God, I was scared. I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
No,
and the dude just,
bitch.
Yeah. It's almost as if he was just bad.
And I mean, and I'm sorry, and that whole
shot him.
But still, that whole thing about I fear.
Stop being vigilantes. This is the reason why people get into problems. Is people want to be a freaking hero or a cop and do a cop's job.
Look, and I'm sorry. I'm so over people saying, and I was scared. It's like, oh, officer, I shot that black man because I was scared for my life. I shot that Mexican man because I was scared. I'm like, oh, okay. You love how they will always say that, oh yes, I'm scared. Oh, you scared? You scared? Like, I'm sorry. Like, I'm sorry. To me, that's no. And you're the one starting shit. When you could have just mind your own business and no one would have basically been the wiser about nothing. The fuck?
If he wanted to, he should have just called. He should have just called the police.
Right? Like, I'm sorry. Why are you? And I'm sorry. And why are you bothering?
That's all he had to do. If it bothered him that much.
Them parking in the handicap spot was not hurting you in any shape, way, or form. So why do you feel the need to then put yourself into something that has nothing to do with you? That if you would have went to the proper authorities and called it a day, no. That's why. No. The more and more we've been hearing this story, I'm like, yeah, no. I'm not justifying that man shooting him. No. No, this man was poking his nose into some business that literally he did not need to put himself into, and then bam, when he wanted to basically be a motherfucking coward, because that's what a lot of these motherfucking people do, especially, and no offense, especially these fucking racist ass white people that will put themselves and insert themselves into other people's business for no fucking reason. And then when they don't get the results that they want, or when people then retaliate or react in a way that they don't want to, then they want to basically pull out a gun and they say that they were scared. It's the same fucking thing. And it's like, when is enough enough? And look, and I get what you're saying. It's just words. I get that. But I'm sorry, but I cannot sit there as a person who, look, I have been bullied. I've been called a lot of things that have hurt me throughout my life. I grew up with a family that told me I was stupid and just said the word stupid. That cut so deep into my soul that there is still a part of me, even to this day, as I'm 26, about to be 27 years old, that still feels like, you know what, maybe I am stupid. So I can't say, oh, words are just words. When I have literally, when like I said, when things that people have said to me still, like from when I was a child, still affect me in my adult life. I'm sorry. I don't subscribe to the whole notion of it's just a word. Okay, well then why don't we all run around saying the N-word? Why don't we all run around saying faggot? Why don't we all run around saying the word the S word that's offensive to Hispanic people? Why don't you white people don't like being called cracker? If it's just a word. Okay.
Yeah, I know, I get it. No, let me also add on to that part. Words do have severe consequences. Absolutely have severe consequences. Just like how right to bear arms, words, freedom of speech is also very powerful within itself too. Words equally hurt because words have kept people from progressing. They have kept gays from getting married. They have kept racism in the country as long as it did. They have determined the value of what people are. So words do have a massive.
I mean, hell, and then look, and then if you want to go down to the basic mindset or the main basic thought process of it, words have basically, because of words, there's a reason why kids will commit suicide. They'll be like, okay, because because they called them names, because they were saying stuff about them, that they were spreading rumors. I'm like, come on, this. I mean, I'm not even just saying you dirty. It's just, I just don't understand the mentality of, oh, it's just a word, when it's like, look, I'm sorry, but what are you when someone says that to me, I don't know, I looked at them like, are you serious?
But
it's
I
just
don't think that's what
what I'm saying is, if I was in that situation, yes, I would want to hit this man. But at the same time, I don't know what this man has. Especially living in today's society now, you have people carrying just to be carried, and they don't even have no permit. They don't even have the right to carry. For me to just run out and see that this man is arguing with my wife, girlfriend, and my kids are there. He ain't lunging at her. He ain't up in her face. He ain't pointing his finger in her face. There's no need for me to just come and just punch this man. Now, for me to get in between for him, for him to look at me and the words come towards me, I'm gonna argue with this man, but I'm also telling my girl, get my kids and you get y'all ass in the car, and I will handle this. But I'm not gonna handle it with my fist, because first of all, I'm gonna let him know you don't have to argue with this lady. I'm here. Now, what is it that you arguing about? Now, once he said about a parking spot, I'm like, look, man, I went in there and did something. Now I'm gone. Now you get out my face. And that's all I have to say. I don't have to put my hands on him. I don't care what word he used. Yeah, I might want to punch him. But like I said, at the end of the day, you don't know what these people have. And just by him just shoving that man, he lost his life.
And you're justifying him shooting him.
I don't justify that man.
But it's kind of like you were justifying it.
I don't justify. I just said that's the law over there.
That's what I thought. I thought you were saying like, oh well, I don't blame him. To me, when you say, hey, I don't blame someone, you're justifying it.
But
I put it like this: I don't blame the white man. I don't care what color he was.
No, I blame him.
Because that's the law over there. If they say, hey, if somebody put their hands on you and you feel threatened, then you have the right to shoot if you are armed. I can't be mad at that law.
But you see where that law is bullshit, though.
Yes, I understand that, but I still can't be mad at that law. That's the law that's been over there for decades. But it's not here in Chicago.
I'm mad at the law. I'm mad at the people who put the law into place. I mean, hey, I'm mad at everybody.
If you think about it, words were the reason why that law was put into place. When you give somebody words, you give people. I'm saying, look, words are powerful because words influence. They can create motivation, and they can create motivation. They can create resistance. They could create this religion. They can create so many different things. Words are equally powerful, or if not stronger than guns ever will be. But what I'm saying is,
pen is mightier than the sword.
Exactly. And I'm saying this, and I know that this is going to sound very ignorant. It's going to sound very ignorant what I'm about to say. But I think that people who feel the need to own guns have mental health issues. And the reason why I say this is because if you're that paranoid, you have a mental issue. You have PTSD. You are afraid of people. There's something wrong. You have anxiety. You have PTSD. If you are that afraid of people, then there's that. See, the only time when I see it justified in any way, shape, or form is if you have a gun, you got to keep that gun at home in a box, in a place where it's nowhere in sight or whatnot. You are not allowed to take it out on the open road or whatever you want to go to, put it in your, no. I think that's where it goes a little bit too far. But I understand that people got to protect themselves and whatnot, but you can't automatically just judge and assume. The thing is that the guy backed away the moment he pulled out his gun. The problem was him not pulling out the gun. The problem was that he shot the gun when the guy was backing away. He was near the freaking doorway. He was telling his kid, yo, back up, back up, back up. And he was backing up too. When he saw that this man had a gun, this guy fired without any warning. He just went, boom, 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 boom. He pointed it and just shot. Why? When the guy was backing up. When the guy had his hands up, he had his hands up. He shot anyway. This is
you know why he shot, because of that law. That's why he shot.
Still, even in the law, this is what bothers me. Even in the law, the thing is that there's a standard ground law where you're allowed to shoot somebody if you fear for your life. So basically, in regards to that rule, I could say, oh, there's a person across the street minding their own business. They're scaring me. Let me shoot them. Boom. You know, like, because they're scaring me. What are they doing there?
I'm sorry. I still feel like I feel like that's fucked up. Like, look, I understand. Yes, the man should have never took it to violence. He should have never took it to violence. I'm not saying in that. Oh well, hey, it's just cool just to always just go around and be violent. No, I'm not saying that. But what I'm saying is, it's just like, one, you put yourself. That man put himself into a situation that had nothing to do with him in the first place. One, that already to me says you're a coward. Well, sorry, you a bitch, because you putting yourself into something that really shouldn't have nothing to do with nothing. But nothing. Okay? You put yourself into a situation that you should not have. Then you want to be arguing. Then you finna be arguing with a girl. Now, I'm not saying that it's justified, but I ain't gonna lie to you. Now, will I be quick? No, like I said, now me personally, I don't care who it is. Now, like I said, and if I was to argue with a girl randomly, I already have it in my mind. You know what? She may have an old dude that might just be dumb and ignorant, because men like that anyway. Okay, men just like that. And I'm thinking like, okay, so I might have to now deal with her boyfriend too. And then, and mind you, if the man is freaking backing up, if he's backing up and he has his hands up, I'm sorry, to me, you got to be somewhat fucked up to still shoot him, because clearly he was gonna stop, and clearly, and that's the thing. It's like, dude, clearly this man did not really was not about it and did not. Now, if he was like still trying to go at you, then I could at least be like, well, okay, at least he was still trying to go with him. But if the man is backing up, has his hands up, like, yo, okay, I'm sorry, like, no, don't shoot, no, then don't shoot him. But because a law will justify you and being able to do it, you gonna go ahead and do it. And I'm sorry, I just think that's a fucked up law. And like I said, we're now seeing a situation where it's like, oh wow, so yeah, this law really is kind of a fucked up law, because even if you're backing up afterwards and you're trying to say, look, you don't want you don't want that, you know what I'm saying? Like, it makes me upset. It really does.
Yes,
because it didn't need to happen like that. It did. It
didn't need to happen like that. It's a stupid law.
And it
shouldn't have happened. And I blame both of them. Dude for getting into their business, and then dude trying to be, Shazam, trying to be Superman. Like, and there was no need to be Superman. Mm-hmm. If that man was not putting his hands or in that woman's face where they damn near touch her nose, it could have been resolved. Mm-hmm. Now, if the man was doing that, and I just so happened to come out the store and I see this man in my woman's face, nose to nose, oh yeah, I'm going straight blows. I ain't gonna say what's going on. I'm running up dead in the jaw. Now, if I just so happen to get killed right there, then I just get killed right there because that was justified. But for me to just come up in this man's face and I see him arguing, they damn near 10 feet away from each other, there's no need for me to swing at this man.
Mhm.
My thing is to get my kids and my woman to safety and let me see what's going on with this dude because our conversation is about to be short once he say about this parking spot. And I'm gonna let him know,
Mhm.
nigga, it's done and over with. I got my stuff and we gone. And I'm getting in the car.
Mhm.
But as if I see him physically or even look like he's gonna physically do anything to my woman or my child in their face like a grown man, yeah, I'm gonna come out swinging. But it wasn't. There was no need for this man to just rush out and just shove this man. And I put the blame on both of them.
Mhm.
One for him coming over there talking about a parking spot. Now I see if he was handicapped and he came over there to say something. But you ain't even handicapped. So why is you worrying about who's
And then even then, what
in a
like
handicapped spot?
was it hell? Why don't you be like how some of them other women are that people be exposing all up on the internet? Why don't you call all the po-po be like that one bitch who wanted to basically call the police for the girl for selling water? Call the po-po.
I even blame the chick for even getting out the car with your child. Why are you getting out the car with my son or my daughter to argue with this man? Stay your dumb ass in the car.
Right? Like, I mean, still, no. I mean, don't get me wrong. No, I'm not saying that both parties are not at fault. I just feel like the fact that he took it that far. That's why people are upset and why people are mad. Because and I don't blame people for being upset. I don't because like no. But going back even to what Lynn was talking about as far as like what the politician talking about. Oh, he want to raise the taxes on the games. I'm like, okay, I get what you're doing. Cute, but wrong. Okay, because yes, mental health is the problem. Yes, mental health is the problem. But the fact that basically, hey, people, the fact that guns are so readily available, that's even a bigger issue. And I'm sorry, and people will say like, oh no, but they do checks and all this is that and the third. There have been multiple times, and I repeat this again, multiple times, where people will literally walk up into a gun store or be able to buy a gun, and nobody does any form of checks. They're like reporters and stuff have gone to like gun shows. And do you know what these people say? Hey, these people say, hey, like, oh, well, if you look trustworthy, we're just gonna give it to you. I'm like, really? Those as long as they look trustworthy. But you wanna basically tax a video game. Okay.
Well, my whole thing with the video game is they want to, what they want, 10%, raise it 10% for mental issues. Okay, we've been living in this world for thousands of years. And I don't think this is going to help any research. Do like, what I'm saying, do like what cancer does. They with breast cancer, donate. Stop
Mhm.
trying to blame video games for what people do. You know what I'm saying? That's the number one that's the number one issue that they use is video games. It has nothing to do with video games.
Mhm.
What about the violence of movies? You know what
Right.
I'm saying? What about the violence that we see on TV? What about the violence that we see out in the real world? Why is it just video games? And to me, I don't trust the government. Whoever trying to put this together, all they trying to do is pocket this money. This money is not going to go for research for anything. It's going straight in their pockets. This is just another way for them to scam money so they can get rich. All these old people that's sitting in office always trying to figure a way to get more money in their pockets.
I'm like, and you
All
think
these
honestly these
politicians,
motherfuckers give up? They
these
actually
poli-
care?
these
They don't
politicians
care.
get in office and within 2 weeks they trying to get themselves a $20,000 raise. You ain't even done nothing in 2 weeks. You just got the job. So all this plays in. This is not going to no psychological anything. This is going in their pockets. This is not going for no research. You had plenty of time to do research on mental illness. Just like you had plenty of time on cancer, AIDS, and all this other stuff that humans go through. Now all of a sudden you mean to tell me you want to do research on it? Nigga, please. That's just a way for them to pocket that money. Because that 10%, 12%, whatever he trying to add on, it's not going to no research. It's going to the research on how he can take his family to the Bahamas. That's all that is.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
All it'll ever be.
So we just went totally off topic. Everybody knows.
That's my fault. My fault. But the thing is that you can't talk about anything political in any way, shape, or form without it getting political. And then I used an example, brought it with guns, and then all of a sudden everybody gone.
No, but I mean, it's fine to. No, I mean, in my opinion, it's fine.
It's to me just people just sensitive, and I understand what Dre was saying. I might not agree with all the stuff he was saying, but at the end of the day, that's his opinion. Mm-hmm. I'm not going to hold a grudge against Dre from now into whatever, or be like, Lynn, I don't want to be on the podcast no more because we bumped heads on this. We bumped heads on this subject about guns. Like, man, come on! I got too much stuff to worry about.
Plus, to be fair, though, I already have some aggression from somewhere else anyway, and I was like, you know what? I need to let this out because, honey, someone. Let's just say someone was really trying it, but I'll talk about that later. No. But no, like I said, I mean, at the end of the day, yes, you know, people are gonna see it differently. You know what I mean? They're going to. I'm not gonna be mad at somebody. Like I said, look, I tell anybody, look, I don't give a fuck if you like me or not. I don't care if you like. I don't care if you agree with me or not. I genuinely don't care because why I said what I said and I said it and I meant what I said. Yeah, bitch. Okay. Like I said, but still though. But if we can at least respect each other, that's what matters.
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't matter how people see it because not everyone's gonna see it like you, and everyone's not gonna think like you. And to be fair, I would rather have that than people thinking like me. Because if there were people out there who were thinking like me, there would be a lot of crazy ass motherfuckers out there. Just saying. Like hell, we need some sane people out there in the world.
All right, so back to this 10% hike in video games.
Hell to no. Oh, it ain't gonna change shit. It ain't gonna help shit. It'll never help shit. And then until you want to address the problem, don't come at me with shit. How about that?
It's like I said, if they ain't been doing research, you know, on mental illness, why do it now?
Mm-hmm.
All this is them trying to put money in their pockets or try to put money somewhere that they've been stealing out of so they won't get caught. That's all these politician people do. All these political people in office, all they do is steal money. That's all they do.
Mm-hmm. All they want to do is
they always complain, well, we don't got no money, you know, for the schools, for the kids, for books and stuff.
Well, I tell you, legalize weed and use that money for school, kids, books, streets, all that other stuff they need to fix. How about that? Because that's a multi-billion-dollar a year industry as well. Legalize weed. I guarantee you ain't gonna have no more problems then.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
There's so many other things that they can tax towards mental health. Like, for example, like they could put it on alcohol because people who drink alcohol have mental issues. You know, they have mental. Not everybody. I'm just saying that there's some people that drink it who abuse it because they have a mental issue.
You might as well
alcohol,
tobacco too, and them e-cigarette things.
Tobacco, e-cigarettes, like tax things that cause mental health and put it towards mental health.
No, and the sad part about it is like if you look at the number of people who actually do drink alcohol, they probably do have some form of a mental issue. A good.
I'm talking about like those who like like people who drink it for like social things, like they just drink like a
No.
glass of wine.
I'm saying like, okay, like there. No, I bet you it. No, I'm saying it as far as people who do consume it, there's probably a very high margin of people who have mental health issues and they use it to deal with that mental health issue. Is what I'm saying.
A lot of people are addicted to it.
It's like with smoking. I bet you anyone, the majority of the time, whenever I hear someone say that, oh, they smoke, it's because of the number one reason is stress or anxiety or whatever reason. That's what I'm saying. I'm saying that the percentage of people who use this stuff, they probably do got some issues going on up in their head.
Yeah. And then
what they say, I know my uncle does. I know my aunt. Well, let me stop talking about my family. Anyway, let me stop. Ooh. But no, but I mean, and it's just like, come on. Without legalized, let me tell you something. If they would actually legalize weed, do you know how many people out here would not be pressed about half the shit that they were pressed about?
Yep.
Do you know how much more common people would be if we would just
money stores made?
Right? Like, I'm sorry. Like, look, whether people like it or not, there's a market for weed.
And how many people won't get arrested anymore? Or but
see, the thing is with that, I think why they don't want to legalize it is because they know it's still street corners that's going to sell it, and they can't tax that because they know people still look at it. How much you think if the government said we're going to legalize it and sell it? Do you think they're going to sell it at the street level price as it is now? $10? No. They should what's the word I'm looking for? Quadruple or more just to get some weed.
Mm-hmm.
When you can go walk right down the street or go to whatever corner you can get some weed and get it for $10. Get you a nice size bag for $10 and go on about your merry way. And
but what weed? But I want to know what weed are you getting for just $10? I'm just like, wait a minute. Is it a good trend or is it some single weed?
Wait a minute. We are on live stream. We can't be talking about this.
Look, I'm just saying, whatever good weed costs, if it costs $25, you best believe it's gonna be $75.
I still want to know where can you go for $25 and get some weed.
No, I'm just saying that. Look, if you think about it, I feel like this could also create a lot of entrepreneur business ships, like people who have a dealer who can supply them with money. They can open up their own weed shops and sell it at bargaining prices because then they'll be competing shops. And
there's so many different brands,
and everybody will be more friendly because of it. But I think the real reason why they don't want to legalize weed is because they know that it can solve a lot of the world's mental issues that they charge you for pills. That's what it is. The pharmaceutical companies is the reason why weed isn't legal. They say, oh, look, you could take 15 pills, pay like 30 something, use your insurance, pay all that. That insurance is in then paying us and giving us all this money in our pockets when we could have just solved it. That's all. That's the main reason. Because like if you look at Colorado, I bet you they are chill as hell right now. California, chill. I mean, I know that there's still people out there that have issues and things like that, but come on. At this point, look, there have been many studies on marijuana, and it helps a lot of things. And it's not just smoking it, it's the oils, the edibles, things like that. And if it keeps you
with my migraine too.
Yeah, it probably would. It would probably fix a lot of issues. But the problem is that if they do a random drug test on you and like people judge you just because you smoke weed. People will judge you just because you smoke weed.
But see, these be the same people that used to smoke it 30 years ago or still smoking it today. They just ain't been caught.
Well, there's that. Or on top of that, what it is that there's a lot of people like back in the 90s, people said no to dope, say no to drugs and whatnot and things like that. People were advertising it and it failed because it ended up making people want to do it more. You know, like hearing someone like Michael Jackson say no to drugs. People don't really hear the full message. Drugs. But the thing is that
You say no to weed.
these people.
All right, we done with this.
Sorry.
Okay.
Anyway, all right, 10% on video games. No.
Yeah,
Hell to the no.
definitely not.
Nope.
Ain't gonna change shit.
It's a stupid
Because
decision.
who's
And
to
it
say
better
that
not
once
pass.
that passes, it's not going to go up? It's a couple years later, go up again.
Oh, it's gonna go up. It's definitely gonna go up because these games take longer and take more money to produce. And 10% is on top of whatever they're trying to charge because video games are nickel and diming you to buy the freaking special editions. You see, so like the thing is that they're already trying to push us into the digital world. That's what they're trying to do. And I'm already not like video games are expensive. They're expensive, and you know we already pay enough as it is, and there's a rating system on it for a reason. That's it. If it was already like if video games were at a reasonable like price, like let's say that they were like $40 or no, let's say $30. $30, and then they want to charge a 10% tax increase on that or whatever, just on video games, if it's violent or if it's rated M for mature or whatever, then I say, okay, yeah. But if you look at something like the soda tax, oh, never mind. Let's go back to the video games because I don't want to go into that. But I'm just saying that if you charge 10%, it's not going to fix any issues because it's going to end up going back. It's just going to go back to the pockets of whoever created the bill. This is just a way of them doing it. It's just a way. If this politician really cared about people's mental health and all that other stuff, he would have known what the true issue was. But a lot of these people don't even play games to even judge or make the judgment. Like there could be a mature game, for example, because that's what they're going to target. If this were to pass, they would target mature games, right? They'll put on any game that's rated M for mature. Let's say that these games don't even have a gun in it, or they don't have any weapons, or you know, the only thing that's bad about it is maybe nudity or curse words.
Well, they just gonna censor the nudity wheel.
Oh yeah, they're gonna censor the. But that's the thing that I don't like. God of War, for example, has nudity. You see boobs, Greek mythology, and whatnot. I just don't understand why people are so freaking hot and bothered by seeing titties. I just don't get it. I don't get it. Like I don't. I think that girls should be shirtless and braless if they want to. I think that they should. Exactly. You see,
there are some women who got nasty sagging titties, and I don't want to see that.
Well, there's men that do too, and they are shirtless.
Yeah, and I don't want to see that either.
Well, too bad. I said, well, if it's legal for them, it should be legal for women too, and then breastfeeding wouldn't be a big deal. But anyways, I'm just saying that. Look, I'm just saying that we censor too much here. And there's other countries that are perfectly fine with the way things are. And charging a percentage tax, because they charged, what was it? A 300% tax, games tax on anything in South America. So if you lived in Brazil and you wanted to play PlayStation or Xbox or something, you can buy something that's what, like $200 here? And then over there, it will be 300% more.
That's stupid.
Yeah, like it will cost you like, I don't know how much money, like $400 for a game.
That's crazy.
It's
I want to know who's profiting over there in that country.
Oh,
We're not gonna talk about that here.
Yeah, but this was a video game podcast that we turned political. Oh, God. And it was my fault. I'm sorry. My bad. I always ruin it. Like, well, you're fired. I'm sorry. Okay. But yes.
So are we done? Is this it?
We're done.
Yeah.
All right, guys, because ain't nobody left. They left a long time ago. So I guess we'll go ahead and end the podcast here. We'll have everyone do their outros, and that'll be it for this video. I've already placed links in the description to everyone's channel where you can find them. Be sure to do so. Also, if you're not currently subscribed to this channel, be sure to hit that subscribe button. And
Oh, ha! Hello, everybody. This is Will. If you guys are interested in checking any of my stuff out, be sure to find me at the Will of Gaming / Twitch.tv / the Will of Gaming. If you guys are interested in checking out any of my content or whenever I live stream, you guys could just hit the follow button and the notification so that you're notified every time I go live.
next we have the Old Dirty 33.
What's up, people? We had a great discussion. Sorry y'all left. Maybe it got too sensitive for y'all or something. I don't know, but you know, I'm dirty and I'm about to go eat.
And last but not least, we have Mr. UHC91, Dre.
Hey. Y'all are some sensitive ass bitches. No, I'm kidding. It was fun, but y'all still sensitive.
They would say sorry, not sorry.
Yeah.
Oh, Cloudy Mind is still here.
Okay, you know what? You're not sensitive.
You are amazing.
Yeah.
Yes, good job. I'm glad. I'm glad at least you can listen to a discussion and not get all butthurt.
I know. Shout out to Cloudy Gaby, guys. He stayed here throughout like the whole entire 3 hours.
Was it 3 hours?
Close to it. It was like 2 hours.
Oh, and there was only 3 topics. Oh my god.
Yeah.
It
Like,
more than 3 topics because y'all like to go off on tangents.
I'm sorry, okay? I apologize. I'll promise I'll shut up next time. I will stop and not say a damn word, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Well, then
Cloudy Mind said it's cool. Y'all know we don't nobody censor anybody on this podcast. If people say something and people don't like it, they just leave. I mean, that's just how it is.
yeah.
We don't censor people. People say what's on their minds. We feel podcasting is therapeutic. If there's things you want to say that you need to get off your chest, then there's no problems in doing so. Again, like as Dirty said, these are opinions. You take opinions with a grain of salt. Either you agree or you don't agree, and you agree to disagree, and that'll be it.
Yeah, then you get to go home, you know what I'm saying, and be with your family.
Yeah.
Instead of laying in the middle of the street. But
On that note, I guess we'll call it a day. Thank you.
Bye.
peace out, y'all.